Steve O'Connor and Troy Allen.
Good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to Racing-Leagues.com's coverage of round 2 of our V8 Supercars Championship live from Mid Ohio. Alongside me, as usual, is Troy Allen. Good evening, Troy. How are you?
Yeah, good evening, Steve. Looking forward to this, mate, because there's been quite a lot of anticipation of this round from round 1.
Yeah, so we had a quick look back at round 1. We had a pretty good fight for the pole position, and eventually race 1 went the way of Brett Clark, and race 2 as well went the way of Brett Clark. So he's got a nice healthy lead in the points. But are we expecting anything to change for this round, Troy?
Look, it's going to be interesting, Steve, because looking at the timing sheet at the moment, Bert Van Jarsfeld's actually topping the sheets there.
Yeah, so that's his SRT teammate has finally seems to have figured the car out and got right up towards the top of the sheets there as well. So that can only be good for the team moving forward, surely.
Oh, look, it is a good thing for the team, and it asks the question, but is Brett struggling to get the car to come to grips with this track, or is he struggling to come to grips with the car and the track?
Well, I know from during the week that Brett has actually completely changed his whole driving setup. He's now running full 3 screens gaming rig, and he's finding it a hell of a lot different to his normal driving position, and the braking in particular. He's getting used to, shall we say, but obviously he's managing to get on top of it. But he might not have the same amount of pace over everybody else as he had last time out.
Oh, I think that's interesting that he's left it so late to basically rebuild the car, so to speak, and in time for this round. Because realistically, you'd love to have a couple of hundred laps under your belt and a new setup to get a feel for the how it's going to work.
Absolutely. Well, it does give us something else to talk about. Obviously, we'll hopefully he comes back towards the field a little bit, so we get a good race up front. Having said that, though, Kai Turner was not lacking in pace last time out, and neither was Stuart Poitier and Dan Stevens as well. They were right up there or thereabouts throughout the race. They just didn't seem to be able to make the tires live as long as Brett was, and I suppose he employed a completely different strategy than Kai in race 2, which allowed him to get the win and get out and away with it. So, I'm interested to see how this race shakes out at Mid Ohio.
Oh, look, just on the Kai Turner factor, I can actually let everyone in on the information, the data we got from that round. We actually took a bit of a swing at the setup and didn't really monitor tyre or suspension travel there. The car was bottoming out completely all the way around at Eastern Creek. So if anyone knows anything about these cars, if the car's bottoming out, stays your tyre. It's just murdering it. So that was the reason behind our high deg on the 408 car. So we've rectified that now, and this round his numbers look good.
Oh, that's good to hear. So it should be a good race. You could probably never find 2 tracks as different as there are between Eastern Creek and Mid Ohio Sportscar Course. So Eastern Creek, long, flowing, um, plenty of uncamber corners, but Mid Ohio, you've got the opposite. You've got probably one decent sized straight, and the rest of the time you're in a complex of corners, and quite a few of them, Troy, are off camber. And I know from speaking to some of the drivers in the week, in particular our reigning champion Dan Stevens, that an off camber corner really upsets his driving style as well, and there are going to be people that struggle with this.
Look, we ran this track in the European series as well, and I found it very hard to come to grips with. The fact that I think it's turn 4 where you're coming up, the apex is almost on the crest of the hill, so you're trying to sort of hit the apex while the car's sort of unloading the rear end at the same time while turning it, trying to get on the throttle.
Oh, we've
It's
got 51 cars over on its roof just as we're speaking there. The Darren Goosey car has just gone on one of those off camber corners, clipped the curb and rolled off as well. So just as you were saying that, Troy, about the off camber corners and the apex not being quite visible, it looked like Darren Goosey followed your exact word for word, didn't see where the apex was, clipped the curb and rolled it over onto its roof. So commentator's curse there again.
Well, funnily enough, I'm still waiting for R Factor to load up, so I've called it without seeing it. Just call me Nostradamus.
It is, this track is unique. Funny enough though, as we talk about it, it's driving style that gets you around this racetrack the best. And bizarrely enough, last year I won one of the European races around here. I think it was my first or second win of the year. But this is the kind of track that if the driver likes it, and we've almost got the 23 car of Daryl Bennett over as well on another blind apex off Camber Corner as well. So very topical conversation at the moment. But it's, as I said, if the driver feels comfortable, they will do well round here. But it seems to upset a lot of drivers because it's not natural. You know yourself at racetracks, everything's on camber. Some of the tracks tend to hook you into the corner as well with the camber, but with this being absolute opposite, you've got to change the car setup that little bit and the driving style as well. You've got to wait a little bit longer before you can push almost, and it's a little bit unnatural at times for the feel that you've got with the car, is to try and feather the throttle a little bit longer before you can actually push through the corner. And I think that's where some of the guys are struggling a little bit. So we're probably going to get a little bit of a field shake up here today, Troy, from what I can see on the time.
Look, it's going to be interesting because if you're the kind of driver that sort of has muscle memory, so to speak, or can really memorize a track exceptionally well, this is where somewhere you're going to do well. Otherwise, if you're one that sort of needs to visualize your apexes and see every part of the track, then you're going to struggle because there are a lot of corners here where you're not going to see your apex until you're hitting it.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a patience game around here. And the other thing that this is going to do as well, it is going to put extra load through that front left, certainly on many of the corners, front right on one of the other ones that I can think of, especially over the brow of the hill. So we're going to see potentially a more even tyre wear than normal, but I would imagine it would be quite high from previous experience around here as well. So that's something we have to watch for. And if we just bring up the format we've got for today, so we have 2 races as normal. We've got 30-minute practice, which all the guys are in right now, 10-minute qualifying session, and then our first top 10 shootout of the year, Troy, which I'm sure you'd be delighted to commentate on.
We all love the top 10 shootout, Steve.
Absolutely. And then we've got the 10-minute warm-up, followed by 20-lap race 1. Now, race 1 must be driven on the hard tyre. And I know from bitter experience right here as well, a hard tyre is a really difficult tyre to live with for 20 laps. You've got very little grip most of the way through, but it is consistent, and that's the key thing. So you've really got to adjust your lines for this tyre. And then race 2 is soft tyre only, 36 laps, reverse grid. And there's a slight difference in the reverse grid this week, and we'll discuss shortly. And you must take a pit stop in race 2, but by default, Troy, you're going to be pitting anyway in race 2, potentially more than once, depending on how your tyre degradation's going.
Well, yeah, exactly right, Steve. I mean, the front right tyre here at this track is copping an absolute beating, especially with those off-camber corners over the crest, because the tyre is sliding across the surface a lot more than what it normally would be, which in turn increases your tyre degradation. So just keep an eye on that. If you start seeing rubber and smoke coming off these cars, you know the guys are really pushing it. They're overworking their tyres, and these are the guys that are probably going to be pitting in the first race as well.
Absolutely, something to keep an eye on. It's going to be a long 20 laps for them. Actually, it's not that long of a lap time. You're in the 119s for the outright pace, so it's not a long lap, but it's a difficult one when you've got a tyre that's fallen off its balance with you there. So we just bring up the track map. So it is a 13-turn track because we are running the chicane in this one. It's an FIA Grade 2 track, so it's almost up to Formula 1 standard. It regularly runs the IndyCar races around here, the sports car racing series as well. And it's a 2.4 mile track, and it's a real challenge. It's unique, especially for V8 Supercars to be racing around here as well. It will keep people on their toes.
Oh, look, this is definitely the kind of track that you are going to have to be on your toes. One other thing to probably look out for, and especially here, is the pit exit. Now, you can't. It's part of turn 1, so as you're coming out, there's no actual line marking for the exit. So everyone's going to have to really be on their game and watching their mirrors as to what's coming behind them as well.
Definitely, it'll be something the stewards will be looking out for as well, is that nobody's actually crossing that blend line when they're taking the racing line through that corner, and it's very tempting to turn in tighter into turn one when you're on a lap and try and grab as much as possible. But if you get all the way over the curb, you'll get through the corner. If you get on that curb on the inside, you're going to be pushed all the way to the outside, and the outside of turn one, there is nothing but grass for miles, and it will take you a long time to get back on. So something to watch. I'll just well, we're discussing as well in our previous races here. The start, it can be chaotic, especially for the guys on the outside going into turn one, because there really is only one line through turn one, and you do get up quite a bit of speed before turn one from a standing start as well. So there's no three wide through turn one. 2 wide is about the limit that you're going to get through there. So it'll be interesting to see how they get off the grid and get through that first turn.
And that's the thing, you are going to be carrying a fair bit of speed into one, because these V8 supercars, 650 brake horsepower, and nice sticky slicks. Well, not in our situation, because if the boys roll them tyres up properly, they may. But they get up and boogie. Don't worry about that. 0 to 100 in under 3 seconds sometimes.
Exactly. So it should be fun through that turn. Then we bring up a short straight into the chicane, which is marked on your map. It's on the screen right now with the grey part. So it's a right into the chicane, followed by a left and a curving left as you then go up the hill, approach the keyhole turn 2, off camber hairpin, down a hill as well. So everything that you would, as a driver, would not want in a corner to upset the car is all present in turn 2. And then you're onto that very long straight, a little kink which they've named as turn 3, and then into turn 4, which is a blazing overtaking opportunity as well. But you've got to have your brakes right, because it is dirty offline in there, and if you go off at turn 4, you're downhill into the grass again, and it's very difficult to get back out of there in any sort of time at all. Try.
Oh, that's exactly right. Turn 4, if your brakes aren't at the temperature, you're going to either lock a brake or you're going to overshoot. If you're right on it, it's one of those turns where you can't be half-hearted about it. You've got to make your decision and stick with it.
Exactly. You're either going or you're not. The normal racing line is to stay out to the left and sweep into turn 4 and try and catch a late apex and get through it, because you need to be set up for the right handful of the turn that is turn 5. It's uphill, left-hander, off camber again, which tends to throw the car out to the right hand side, which isn't too much of a problem because you're nicely set up to move back over to the left for turn 6, which looks like a bit of a blip when you're looking at the track map, but in fact it is quite a challenging corner in itself, and it's the exit that's important out of 6 as well. Too early on the throttle, you're going to spin. Too late on the throttle, you don't have enough speed through turn 7. Downhill, aiming towards the left for turn 8, hook it into the right a little bit. You're probably going to go through there in 4th gear with about 75-80% throttle. When you're tire limited, when you're in qualifying, you're going to try and take that as flat as possible. And then you've got turn 9, another off camber, uphill right hand corner as well. Get the entry wrong to that blind apex as we've seen with Darren Goosey, and you're going to be on your roof. So quite a bit of a challenge through 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. And then you've got the car settled up through Thunder Valley, which is a nice little bit of a blip of a straight. Move the car over to the right through the kink of 10. And then you've got that awesome turn 11 corner as well, which you can really attack as well. But you've got to be careful what gear you're in. It's sort of, in these V8s, you want to be in 3rd gear through there. Some people will try to take it in 4th. When you've got plenty of tires on you, it can be taken in 4th, but you've got to be careful on the exit or you're into the grass again. And then through the carousel of 12, a little bit of an overtaking opportunity there as well. But we've seen from previous experience, Troy, through 12, some people can mistake the actual racing line for somebody leaving the door open, and we've had a few issues through there before, because you sweep out from the outside into turn 12 as well, similar to the turn 4 entry, and some people take that as an opportunity and stick it down the inside, and both drivers have to play ball for that to work.
Well, yeah, it's almost like the final turn complex at Eastern Creek, so you've got a bit of similarities there, where you just flow the car out to the outer edge of the track to come back in. Now, if you've got track knowledge, you're going to know that that's what the driver's up to. But some of these newer guys that probably haven't driven here before don't realise that that's actually the racing line. Make that dive bomb attempt, and then all of a sudden, we could be ending up in tears.
Yeah, that corner that you did highlight at Eastern Creek, we've seen Bert van Jaarsveld having a few issues there as well, where he'd made a move and the other driver came back in again on him. So it's something to watch. And then you've got the final turn 13, which is a very inviting corner to try and plant it and get that throttle all the way down. But as they come to the end of the tyre life, that will be a nightmare and could spin people off as well. And it is the exit of turn 13 that gets you the speed onto that home straight back for turn 1 again. So that's a lap of Mid Ohio Sportscar Course for you. Hopefully you're all well informed. So as usual, we'll just pop up our live timing. Feel free to avail yourself of it. It is up on your screen right now, and there's the URL as well, so you can see live where everybody is on track, all of the splits, sectors, best overall laps, etc. as well. So it gives you that little bit more information about what's actually happening on track as well, and allows you to follow the races live alongside of us as well.
Just on a side note there, Steve, was speaking with Kai Turner earlier today, and he informed me that none other than Kurt Kostecki was actually on early today. He actually may be joining us later this afternoon.
Yes, we did see Kurt set a lap of 120.751, so he's a little bit off the outright pace at the moment, but he hasn't driven with us in a little while, so it'd be good to have Kurt on board again for this race, see where he stacks up. And just as we speak there, Brett Clark has lowered that outright lap record to 118.927. That's a phenomenal pace, so he's obviously getting his new setup configured to his liking, and it doesn't seem to have slowed him down a bit.
Definitely not.
So we've also got Kai Turner in
Steve.
Sorry, Kai Turner's in second there with a 119.264. So he's got a little bit of speed to find still.
Yeah, that's it, Steve. And the interesting thing to note there on that side note, if we do get Kurt in here, it'd be interesting to actually get. He's actually driven in the main game now, so to get his opinion on what this software is like compared to actually driving a real V8 supercar, because he drove for the Preston Hire team.
Absolutely. We'll leave that up to you to arrange if and when he does pop in. So I think we're just running through the last 9 minutes or so of practice, and then we'll be on to the 10-minute qualifying, then followed by the top 10 shootout. So been a few regulation changes since race 2 at Eastern Creek. A bit of some reaction to some of the issues, shall we call it, that we were seeing on track, especially in race 2 there as well. So the reverse grid, only the top 10 will be reversed now. And then they will have to drive their way through the top 10. The second half will stay as they are. I believe that there's going to be a staggered start for race 2 as well. Race 1 will remain unchanged as normal. There should be a staggered start for race 2, where the first 10 go on the green light, and then probably 20 seconds later or whatever, the second lot go. But I'm not quite sure if they're going to run that this week, but just watch out. The main thing is that the top 10 are the only people going to be reversed in the race 2.
And look, if anyone that remembers the old reverse grids in the V8 supercars, they can recall that it used to be just the top 10.
Absolutely, I can remember that as well. So we should get the same standard of racing through the top 10, and if anything, it will be harder to pass through now, because the guys in front of 10th position, for instance, those guys in front should be on a similar pace, so it should make it a little bit more interesting to see how whoever wins the first race tries to get through for race 2.
Well, that's it. It's definitely going to be a case of finishing 10th gets you a good spot. Finishing first still gets you a good spot. So the likes of Brett Clark, we're just going to see him sort of still up there. Kai Turner, Bert van Jaarsveld. It's going to be making it interesting. Ultimately, too, it does sort of give the slower guys down the back end of the field something to chase. Get to that top 10 and you'll get to the front of the next race.
Yes, exactly. And the other thing that's been introduced as well is the Sportsman Cup. So anybody who scores from 11th down will get points towards the Sportsman Cup, which gives us a second trophy for people to race for as well, which I think in all eventuality is a good thing because it gives everybody a reward for race. Now, some people might never be able to win a race outright, but they should still have something to race for, and I think we're giving them that opportunity now.
Look, never say never, Steve. I mean, let's all be realistic and let's just take a serious note here for a second. Who'd ever thought that me personally would ever finish on the podium of a supercar race? Be honest now.
Well, when you started, I wouldn't have given you hope in hell, but you've definitely improved over the years.
Well, there you go. I mean, I know you had a real good view of my rear wing that time, but that's a different story for another time.
Yeah, you can say that again. So just looking as well, Bert van Jaarsveld actually popped into second in the outright lap records table with a 119.046 as well. So he's only less than a tenth of a second off his teammate. So looks like the SRT boys have got it together for both cars.
Definitely, probably the track suits these guys, obviously, for the Volvo as well. There's obviously something that they're starting to unlock in that Volvo that no one else has.
Yeah,
because if you have a look at the 555 team, they're down in 8th and 9th.
Exactly, 1.69 seconds off the pace. Gavin Cox, 1.795 seconds off the pace. Dave Kinnaman. I'm seriously wondering if the guys in 555 are wondering what they've got to do with this Volvo, because in the Ford they were a lot faster than this and a lot closer to the front, if not right out front, last season.
Look, we did see him, but in saying that too, we did see Dave Kinnaman with his dart for the championship was more a Gas Tander style of championship, James Courtney, where he just accumulated consistent amounts of points while everyone else faltered.
This is true. Didn't help him get knocked off in race 1 at Eastern Creek, so he's got quite a bit of work to make up there. So just actually have a look at the points there, Troy, while you're chatting to everybody.
The interesting thing we're going to see here is now with the not complete reverse grid, it's going to make finishing inside that top 10, from my personal opinion, a lot more crucial for your championship bid. If you can consistently be in that sort of top 5 position, then you're going to end up with being in a strong position come the back end of the championship.
Definitely, it's going to be vital to try and get as many points on the board as you possibly can. And we'll just bring up the point standings there for everybody right now as they stand. So we've got Brett Clark in the lead from Kai Turners, 300 points for Brett, perfect weekend, 2 wins, 267 for Kai. So a little bit of a gap after the first race, but that's to be expected if somebody takes out the first 2. That's not going to stay that way for the rest of the season, I'd imagine. We've got the one of our newcomers, Stuart Poitier, in the Plus Fitness car, 258 points in 3rd, so very close to top. Reigning champion Dan Stevens in 4th on 216 with what was a pretty average weekend, considering that we thought he should have been possibly taken out the winning race 1 or been there or thereabouts. Just with a little bit, race 2, just a little bit of a strategy blunder cost him there. We've got the first of the 555 cars in 5th position there, Gavin Cox, Dan Ricard Pavel, Vanjamite Race in 5th, and the second of the SRT cars in 7th, and then the 2 ASR boys in 8th and 9th, and Wayne Dare, the second of the DSA cars in 10th. So looking quite good so far. We'll see how that shakes out after this race, after this round. But we would expect that the top 2 should probably stay there thereabouts.
Look, I don't see much movement sort of from probably the top 4, because you got Dan Stevens, Kai Turner, Scott Portier, and Brett Clark. Now, in saying that, consistency is going to be what wins this championship, I think you'll find. Because, look, we know Brett Clark, he is the professional, he is a Mr. Consistent. But 1 or 2 bad rounds, even back-to-back or even 2-3 rounds apart, it's going to hurt your championship.
Absolutely. If we just look at the teams championship there, we've got SRT leading the way with 474 points from DSM at 411. And that just goes to show, Troy, what you were saying there. If one of your drivers, for instance, has a bit of an off weekend, what looked like a perfect weekend overall can certainly bite you in the teams championship.
Oh, exactly right. I mean, the exciting thing about the teams championship for me last season was not the fact that we took it out, was the fact that it came down to the last race of the season. I think you yourself, Steve, can say that that's probably a pitch. It really makes racing interesting because it's not over till the fat lady sings, and she wasn't singing that song.
Absolutely, I do like the team to win the drivers' championship where possible, but it just gives that extra satisfaction when you take out the team's championship because you know as a unit you are working together in the best way possible, and the reward, you win the title.
Oh, look, and this year with the resurrection, I guess you could say, of SRT, it gives us at DSA that benchmark to sort of aim for. And look, you can see we're behind in the team's title, but we're definitely not out yet. We had an off round, and as you said, Steve, it shows in those points. If one of your drivers, especially in the team's title, is not on song, then you're going to lose out big time. And look, 555, they were in the hunt last year, but a couple of off rounds, especially in the Enduros, it sort of really hurt.
Exactly, and as we've seen with Dave Kinnaman not scoring in race one, there it's kept them in third position overall. And like you were saying there with the teams championship, you DSA had a bit of an off weekend. SRT with one driver had an awesome weekend, but a completely off weekend with the second driver, and the points gap's not a hell of a lot. It's all to play for all the way through this season. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Look, most definitely. And look, I can't wait. Sort of probably that halfway back into the season where everything's sort of shaking itself out, the cobwebs are gone, and you get a better idea of where the game is actually at, who's got what, and who's still got something left in the tank.
Absolutely, and we just got the WP concreting car, triple two car, Wayne Pengelly on screen, the ASR run, Holton Commodore there, and Wayne is featuring a new sponsor on board this week, Simulate It. So the website for anybody, it's for uh, some motorsport simulation equipment. So you've got your rigs, steering wheels, everything else on there as well. And the address for that is simulate-it.com.au. So it's worth everybody having a little browse over there and seeing what sort of stuff you can get and make this as realistic as possible.
And well done to them for coming on board as well. You know, they've got a decent driver there with Wayne, but just on that ASR team, is team realism. They failed to pull a second car up tonight, Steve. Surely, if they want realism, that should be a penalty.
Yeah, they are taking the realism to a whole new world there. Colin is actually off on a real event this weekend. I'll try and pull up the details for that itself, but he's got 500 Ks to do today to get to where he needs to be for part one of the event. So it's happening all weekend. It's just try and pull up the details on it.
Well, look. In the real life game, you're contracted to run two cars each event. I'm going to see one car turn up here, Steve. There's going to be a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I've been saying it for the past couple of weeks in the lead up to it. Mr. Bruns, or Burns as he should be called.
Ah, good old Mr. Burns. He will be burning after seeing this broadcast.
He will, and that's the general idea, and he can't do anything about it at the minute.
Nope. And a big shout out, Steve, to our ever faithful Macintosh, mate. Good evening. Good to see you on board with us again.
Good evening, mate. Yeah, well done on turn up. So we've got it's mysterybox.com.au. He's off in what looks like some kind of beaten up ute with tiger stripes on the tires. Let's see if we can actually bring that up for everybody there to see.
Now, hang on a second. Hang on. He's taken a beaten up old ute somewhere.
So there we are. We've got Mr. Bruns on screen there with his ute and his tiger stripes around the tires. I think he probably refers to them as go faster stripes himself. I'm not quite
He
sure.
needs everything. He needs everything possible to make himself go faster at the moment.
But after he's got 500 Ks to go, so good luck, Colin. We know you'll be watching this when you come back.
Those tiger stripes, Jesus.
I know, takes the realism thing a little bit too far.
the worst thing for him too is it's a dirty, dirty Ford.
I
He's got
did
no chance
see
of
that
making
as
it.
well. I believe I did think that they ran Holdens, but seems to have gone to the dark side there.
It's a E series, probably an EL Falcon, was what we would call them over here. In the back there is also what they call a Toyota Starlet. Now he's screwed. Basically, he's screwed, and that's my professional opinion.
You'll be lucky to make the 500Ks, is what you're saying there, yeah?
Well,
Or the
yeah,
five, the
yeah, I think so.
5Ks.
The 5Ks is probably his stretch. 500 meters, yeah, he's good, but 5Ks.
Yeah, best of luck with that. So, we're going to get to the business end now. We're heading towards qualifying. So, let's see, we're just the live time starting to update. So, this is the open session. They have 10 minutes to set it on the line, although it looks like 20 minutes from what I can see on my screen at the minute. And we had Bert van Jarsfield just behind his teammate Brett Clark from Kai Turner, Stuart Poitier, Gavin Cox, Wim Pengeli, Winder, Juice. I thought we cleared all of this rubbish up before. Dave Kinnaman, Dan Stevens were the top 10 beforehand. Let's see if they're able to replicate that and go forward to the top 10 shootout. And it looks like, at the minute, on track, Troy, it looks like leaving the office on a Friday.
Yeah, it's definitely peak hour in the main car park.
Absolutely.
And it's good to see. It's good to see the boys.
All trying to make room. So we've just seen, as we've gone through Thunder Valley there, we've got the 69 car of Clark, our series leader, and three-time V8 Supercar champion, just about to start his lap. And we see him back up the field there, but he's got the 55 jammed right under his rear wing as well. So the other Volvo team obviously trying to follow SRT around there as well. And it's handy to get a little bit of a slipstream as you can around that back straight. Got Clark through turn one, smoking the tyres, heading up towards the chicane. He's going to hang it right through there, just over the curb, catch the curb on the inside through the left-hander, onto the right, off camber, over the hill, down into the home straight, if you like, the back straight. And we should get the overall speed in a second through there. And he's left Kinnaman for dust through that section as well from the looks of it. So this is going to be a quick lap through here from Clark. And I suppose, when is it never a quick lap?
Well, that's a very good question.
Heading up to turn 5 now, so off camber, hooking over, almost rolled it there as well. Had to back out of the throttle a little bit, but not too much.
It's all happening, Steve, at turn 5.
I've seen that in the background. They're all off through turn 8, heading up towards 9. Clark is smoking the tyres on the way in there as well. He's got a perfect run through there. There's a little bit left on the table as well because he wasn't right out to the curb. Looks like Kai Turner's behind him on track now as well, so Kinnaman's had an issue somewhere through there. Going through 12, now 13. And different entry line there for Clark. He stayed right on the right hand side all the way through that one as well. He's going to cross the line now, trigger the timing. Let's see what we've got. At a 119.925, so he's about a second off the outright lap record. So that's what we call the banker, isn't it, Troy?
Definitely is, and Turner's gone quickest with a 19.5, Steve.
Exactly, he was right behind him on track as well. He just tripped the timing beam as well. Looks interesting, like they're both going for a second lap on this one.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know that Turner's decided that he's going to maximise his use of that tyre in this session and run 2 different setups this time around.
Clark has made a mistake as well. We've seen it just off camera there as well on the exit of turn 3. And he's lost quite a bit of time through this one as well. We should see his time is 0.417 seconds down through sector 1 already, so not a good lap. Turner, however, is pushing still, and he's catching right up to the back of Clark as well through turn 9 now, over the hill, down through Thunder Valley. And the kink that they call turn 10, which is a flat out kink as well, staying to the right. We're into 11 now. And he's catching Clark all the time through there, so I assume Clark will dive for the pits now. And he does, and Turner carries on with his lap as well. It's be interesting to see if this is any faster. No, it was 2/10 slower on that lap actually.
Yeah, obviously he's just overdriven it at one point there, Steve.
Yeah, I don't. To be honest, I don't think the soft tire, certainly on a qualifying run, has more than the one lap in it.
I think it does. I think it does. It just depends on how you manage it too, and how you cycle it.
Yeah, but we got this short qualifying format, Troy. So I would say you would really want to get off it, get another set on, and go again, wouldn't you? Really?
I think that's the idea. I think definitely you want to sort of go out there with maybe 3 laps of fuel, an out lap, a hot lap, and an in lap. So that way you basically every 3 laps you're bringing it in. So you probably go. You might get 3 runs at it, but that's going to be a push.
So the second of the SRT cars, I was just looking down the timing there to see where he was with Jarsfield. I was expecting him to pop up anywhere near the top three there, and we just cut him, and he's had an issue in turn three as well. Looks like he was caught on the inside of the curb somehow, so maybe misjudged the braking on the way in. So imagine the 46 will have to head straight for the pits and get another set of boots on there as well. It says 14 minutes on the session time. I'm not sure whether we have 4 minutes left or 14. It did say a 10-minute qualifying, so it's going to be tight. And we got Pengelly actually dropped up into third there as well. So a good lap from Pengelly, and he's actually ran off on turn 3 on his second lap. But again, back to the pits, get a new set of boots on us. So 0.417 seconds back in second position. Brett Clark from Kai Turner. Wim Pengelly 0.817 back in third. Stuart Poitier 0.905 back in fourth. Wayne Durr showing a massive improvement this week. Good to see there. The second of the DSA cars up in fifth position. Juice in sixth position. Dan Stevens, our reigning champion. And something we didn't mention earlier on is Dan is not in a good place this weekend. He's got a bit of a virus going on. And from I spoke to him earlier, one of his eyes was actually closing over, and his mouth is swollen up as well. So he can just about talk, and he's only got about half of his vision. So good effort there from Dan to even get on the track.
Yeah, extremely good effort there, Steve. Extremely good effort. I know speaking with him last night, he could hardly understand a word that he was saying. He's coughing up, and he was saying that turning the wheel was even hurting his chest as well.
Yeah, I did speak to him earlier. So we've just got Pengelly coming back in. We've got the 7 car of Ian Hannon coming back in as well. So Turner's out on his 1905 at the minute, and he's back out on another lap at the moment to see if he can improve on that. We know that the outright lap record's of 118.893 by Brett Clark, followed by his teammate at 119.046 outright. But we just need to keep an eye on Van Johnson because he hasn't actually set a time yet. He's out on track right now, and I think this might be his warm-up lap. So just keep an eye on the 46 car because he's going to get himself out of the top 10 if he's not careful here. So either 2 minutes or 12 minutes remaining in qualifying at the moment. Kai Turner from Brett Clark from Wim Pengelly. Stuart Poitier doing a fantastic job in fourth. Gavin Cox and Dave Kinnaman showing a massively improved performance in sixth and well, it was sixth and seventh, but Dave Kinnaman has just popped up into third. So good lap there for Kinnaman as we follow the 46 car now as he sets off. This was his warm-up lap, so we're going to go through turn 1 at the Caltex Volvo. Smoking the tyres, ran all the way out to the outside. Oh, left nothing on the table through there as well. So he's right on the money at the moment. So it's an all or nothing lap from the 46 car here at the minute. He's up into turn 3 and he's smoking the tyres everywhere, but he seems to have got that turned in as well. It's cost him a few tenths through there, but he just needs to get into the top 10 to get into the top 10 shootout. Down the back straight through the little kink there, heading towards turn 4, past the hay bales on the outside there as well. 274.3 kilometers down the home straight into turn 4. It looks like a very, very messy lap, but it looks fast. So through turn 6, heading up towards turn 7, get turned in early and still smoking the tyres. Jumps a little bit over the hill there as well, heading towards turn 9. Leaving plenty of black stuff on the tarmac through there as well. Kai Turner has just set a fantastic 118.555 to take the overall lap record as we're watching Van Jarsfield on screen. And we're through into the final corner with Bert and through 13 now onto the home straight. So hopefully this gets him into the top 10. And that does actually pop straight up into third position, although he's 1.187 seconds off Kai Turner's fantastic lap there as well to take the overall lap record. And Brett Clark, as we follow, is just heading out of the pits to start his warm-up lap from the looks of it. Or no, he's actually just came back in again, so he wasn't able to reply to that lap time. So Turner is still out on track as well, and see if he's going any faster on this one. He's actually on his way back in after that fantastic lap. Let's take a look at our reigning champion and see how he's getting on. So the number 1 car is heading down towards turn 4 now on the track. Looks like he's on a slow lap, so he's just pulled to the right hand side there as well. So 2.4 seconds off for our reigning champion, and as we alluded to earlier, he's not feeling 100%, so it's going to take a mammoth effort by Dan to get this car up into the top 10. So both the SRT cars in the pits, no doubt comfortable that they've got to make it into the top 10. Just keep an eye on Wim Pengeli here in 4th position now as he's heading through turn 4. 1.551 seconds off the outright lap pace at the moment. So 8 minutes remaining of this session, and then we're into the top 10 shootout. At the moment, the top 10 looks like Kai Turner from Brett Clark, from Bert van Jaarsveld, from Gavin Cox, from Wayne Pengeli, from Dave Kinnaman, from Stuart Poirier, from Wayne Dare, Darrell Bennett, and Juice has popped himself up into 10th to knock our reigning series champion out of the top 10 shootout at the moment. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge for Dan to get in there. Just got Brett Clark on screen at the moment on his outlap, I believe. Yeah, definitely an outlap. He's pretty slow through there. So just looking after the tyres all the way around this track to enable him to get the best out of them for the actual qualifying. So Troy, we've got DSA's Kai Turner has set the outright lap record already in qualifying. He's reset it to 118.555 to take a half a second lead over the 69 SRT Caltex Volvo of 3-time V8 Supercars champion Brett Clark.
Tell you what, Steve, good to see Gavin Cox up to the top 5 as well.
Yeah, both of them are doing pretty well. Dave Kinnaman had popped up into 3rd position. But he's now dropped back down again, so the rubber's going down and the pace is going down as well.
Well, it's, you know what, Steve? It's actually exactly how we thought it would happen here. And we've got Wayne Dare at 3rd, Brett Clark 2nd, Kai Turner 1st, Bert van Jaarsveld. The top 4 filled by DSA and SRT. It was one thing that we all said that, these could be the teams that are battling it out at the back end of the season of the team's championship. But I tell you what, special mention here to Wayne Pengeli.
Yes, Wayne Pengeli is doing a fantastic job up in 6th position, the only ASR car in the field at the moment for this round. So, doing a good job, solid job. At this point of qualifying, it's all about getting into the top 10 and being safe and ready to go again. And quick reminder to everybody who's watching as well is if you crash the car in this session and you can't get back round, you're out for this session. So they've got to balance the speed with the safety as well, especially to get into the top 10 shootout. You just need to get your entry card stamped.
Yeah, exactly, Steve. So looking at the bump here, the bump is a Forres on a 20.8. So we've got Dan Stevens here with a 20.9, so 1/10 outside the 10. And it's really shocking to see Dan not inside the 10.
Yeah, as we said, Dan is struggling with the some medical issues this round as well. So it is a bit of a challenge. And Clark has just narrowed that gap to 0.269. So still not enough to topple Kai Turner. But to be fair, Brett's going to have to go and reset his own lap record to get in front of Kai for just to get into the just to set the outright pace for this qualifying session. And that's going to be a challenge in and of
Look,
itself.
look, he's done an exceptional job here, Kai. But we all know what Brett Clark can do. He can pull something out of nothing. So look, don't say that that's going to be the lap record just yet.
No, definitely not. They're working hard on lowering that as much as possible, and I suspect by the time the race is finished, it'll be lowered again. Might not be lowered in the top 10 itself because, as we know, the top 10 shootout, you've only got that one lap. It's you and the car and the track, and you've got to get the time out of it. But you've also got to not crash it, or you're starting in 10th.
Look, it is. That's what I love about the top 10. It's that balancing act of risk versus reward. Now, we have seen Brett Clark take big risk for no reward and throw it away on laps. Not so much in the top 10, but if you were with us for the last round of pre-season, and I can't remember what track it was, he was really struggling to string together a lap there.
Yes, it wasn't Road Atlanta. It was the one before that. Yeah, it just escapes me at the moment. But yeah, it's Laguna Seca, wasn't it? Yeah, just trying to get a lap together. But these look like they're going forward to the top 10 at the moment. So if we take a quick look down to where the cutoff point is, which is Dan Stevens in 11th, and the car's in the pits with 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go. So Dan's obviously throwing on a fresh set of boots and going to have one last stab at it to get himself into the top 10. Forrest is holding 10th at the moment, 2.316 seconds off the outright pace, but he's only a 10th off 9th, and then there's a little bit of a gap up to 8th. Stuart Poitier, who was running right up the front at this earlier on, is 1.858 seconds off in 8th position. So where the pace has significantly dropped in the last 5 to 7 minutes or so. I've got another issue, the 55 car off again. Looks like there was another car involved there as well, so more problems for 555 Racing there as well. They just can't catch a break this season, can they?
No, it seems as though their luck from the Enduros in the back end of last season seems to have carried on into this, and it's unfortunately a shame.
Yeah, it's a real shame to take out one of the outright front-running teams there, and they're sort of mid-pack top 10 at the moment at best. Definitely confusing for us watching because we know both of them have got the pace to probably take a championship if they put it all together.
Oh, exactly. They do. They really do. I mean, they were the contenders last year until the back end when their luck just seemed to fall away from them. Now, looking at the timing, Bert Van Jaarsveld moves into third place, and I do believe Mr. Forres has lowered that top 10 time just by about a couple of hundredths.
Yes, he has as well. So he's moving forward a little bit more. He's 0.02 seconds off 9th position there as well. So he's going to keep at it. We've got Stuart Poitier out on track as well. He's got back to 4th position. Bert Van Jaarsveld lowered his best time as well to get within a second of the outright pace as well. So starting to look pretty solid at the top end of the top 10 at the moment, with 1 minute and 27 seconds remaining of this session before we go forward to the top 10 shootout.
And look, this is going to make for one interesting top 10 to do. I mean, you got 3, 4 of the fastest blokes, 5, 6. Look, you know what? This top 10 is showing up the usual suspects, I think.
So we've actually got Dan Stevens we're trying to see. He is out on a lap at the moment with 57 seconds remaining as well. He's going to really have to pull out the stops, and what I can see on track, that car does not look fast at the moment. I think he's abandoned this lap, so he's not going to get in the top 10.
He's got one more crack. 45 seconds, Steve.
Line. Yeah, 38 seconds going. There's still quite a bit of track to go, Troy. This is going to be tight. He should make it. Should be pretty
He's
much the
coming into the
last.
final complex now.
He should be the last car over the line, and looks like he's trying to save the tires here for one big push as well. So let's see how we get on. And I know that this is
He's
not a favourite of Dan's, this track at all. So he'll do well to get in the top 10. So here he goes, heading into turn 1. Nicely on the curb there, ran all the way out, catch the outside curb as well. We're heading up towards the chicane, swings it into the right, run across
little
the
shallow.
curb. A little bit of a lock up there as well. We're heading up onto turn 3 there, coming down. Teammate on the outside as well. He might even get a slipstream off his teammate. Nope. Teammate stayed well out of the way there as well. You don't want the team boss blaring at you afterwards.
Now this is crucial. How late is he going to go on the brakes?
He's quite a bit down on the outright speed chart. So he's 269 versus a 274 in there, Troy. So he's had to get on the brakes a little bit earlier, or his exit from 3 was compromised by his teammate, which it could be one or both of them.
Going to be interesting. Now looking at the sector splits here, he's on a 35.3 for the first sector.
It's pretty good. It's going to be close.
25.1. He's gone green for the second.
So he's faster than his own time through there, which is what he needs to get at least beat his own time by a good couple of tenths. And we're crossing the line now.
Here he goes. 20.7. We'll see him do it, Steve.
No, I've got him in 11th still.
Looking at this, a 20.8 was the cutoff.
No,
I don't think his time's registered, Steve.
Interesting. Well, he's in 11th position, 2.432 seconds off the lead, and only 2 tenths off 10th position. So doesn't look like the one car is going to go forward into the top 10 shootout.
That's interesting, Steve, because I was sure that he had a 120.7, and looking at the cutoff time, it should have been enough to get him in there.
Yeah, 120.987 is what's shown on all of the timing at the moment. So no, that's unfortunate for Dan. He's not going to make it through.
Well, Steve, that's definitely got the heart racing there.
It certainly did. So let's see how we're stacking up for the top 10. So we're going to have first car out should be the Forest car, followed by Daryl Bennett, followed by Kinnaman, followed by Pengelly, Cox, Dare, Portier, Donjarsfield, Clark, and Turner to go last. So we should have the Red Bull 66 car, should be the first car taken to the track. So for those of you new to our top 10 shootout format, this is the first one of this season. You get your warm-up lap from the pits, 1 lap at speed, and then you must pull off the track after that. So you get 1 lap to set your time, and that will reset the top 10. So we have seen a few surprises throughout the years in this, Troy. We have seen people who are able to pull out the overall fastest lap really struggle with the top 10 shootout, because it's as much about psychology as it is about actual driving skill and ability to be able to pull this together, doesn't it?
Oh, look, and you say surprises. I mean, we do remember the emergence of one Kai Turner in the practice, the lead-up season at Hidden Valley at the beginning of last season, and that's where he had his breakthrough pole and shocked everyone in the top 10 as this nobody, and then all of a sudden to outrun Brett Clark.
That's right, and looks like from what I can see that we've got some technical issues with the SRT 46 car. Has just dropped out for a moment, so he's still got a little bit of time because he should be third from last to run, following his pace in the top 10 in the previous qualifying session there. So it should be up and running anytime shortly. So we flip over. So we expecting any surprises in the top 10 shootout, Troy?
Look, the surprise will be as to who makes the mistake and just sort of tries to overstep that boundary, especially in the turn 5 there. That is going to be crucial. The up crest, apex, we saw a lot of cars go off there. So I don't know, do you take it a little bit cautious through there and just make sure you get the lap done? Or do you just go hell for leather?
Well, it's getting that balance right, isn't it? And here we go. We've got the 66 car is called to pit exit. So the lights are still red at the moment. So the Red Bull car should stop just before there. We can see on screen there the lights, as I say, showing red at the moment. So you can't go on track. And there we go. He's making his way out on the track now.
Let's just ride on board with these guys on their outlap and just see the different techniques and how they get the car ready for this one hot lap. Because what you got to remember, you got to try and get the tyres up to temp, up to pressure, get your brakes up to temp, get your body up to temp, get your rhythm ready to go in one lap. It's a hell of an effort.
Absolutely. So we're on board with the 66 Red Bull car of Dan Forrest, I believe it is, isn't it?
I do believe so.
Heading down the back
Now that's
straight.
interesting, Steve. He's flat out down the straight. Wouldn't you think maybe to sort of weave the car, load up those tyres, get some heat into it?
Well, certainly on this track, because you don't really have much of an opportunity to do any weaving further on, although through Thunder Valley, which we're going to come up to in a minute, so we're over the left here at the crest of the hill. And as you can see, a lot of these are blind, as we mentioned earlier as well, and into turn 9 now, so you get a little bit of a chance to warm them up here as well. So he doesn't look like he's availing himself of that opportunity. Through 10 into 11 now. Second gear through here, and he's doing the warming up now, which is probably
Bit late,
but let's see. So
and wiggling loose out of 13 there, Steve. That's going to cost.
So we're heading through turn 1. He's carrying a decent amount of speed through 1, loading up that outside rear tyre as well. He's on the grass and straight off.
Oh, he's gone.
Huge.
There's what we're talking about, Steve. That's a huge loss. Risk versus reward. That car is going nowhere. It has blown the motor.
Definitely. That's unfortunate there as well. We've got the Daryl Bennett car sitting for the green light and gets the green light. He is on track now as well. That was a massive crash there as well. So
you could see, Steve, he just sort of got that little bit over the curb. You can see the tyre marks there. He's just got that little bit, that left, that right rear, just that little bit off track. And from there, because he's still slightly loading that rear tyre, it's all over.
Yeah, he just went down that curb a little bit much there, and that's cost him as well. So now we've got the Bennett Pepsi Max car out on track. So this is from the Oranga Racing stable this season. So Daryl joining up with Norman Clark there as well. So we're coming down on the warm-up lap as well through the.
And again, Steve, another car that's not weaving down the straight.
Yeah, he seems to be leaving it to the last minute there as well, but maybe they just don't want to take any life out of these tyres whatsoever, because you've got quite a load through turn 1 there as well, so you just want them warm but nothing taken off them, I suppose. Although he's having a bit of a go at weaving a little bit through there at the moment. And again, so yeah, a bit better on this one. So do you think that could possibly be the Forrest's issue there? He hadn't warmed the tyres up enough as well.
It could have been. What I also believe here as well, coming out with completely green tyres, I think you need to take probably about 1 to 2% out of the life of them to get the optimum grip out of them.
So we're crossing the start-finish straight now. This is the car, Daryl Bennett car, 23 car, going through turn 1 now. He runs all the way out, stays off that curb a bit better. You can see the tyre marks there, but he was close as well.
A little bit of curb on the inside, nice.
Thumped that curb a little bit, yeah. So we're looking pretty clean and straight through 3 there as well, onto the back
Second go
straight.
of the steering.
Up on the curb there as well, throwing a little bit of dust up on the way out there, down through this kink, heading towards turn 4, and it's a massive braking load through the car here as well. And look at the front of it, just dive for the track.
Here's the tricky turn, Steve, I'm talking about.
And he's through that quite nicely. He's ran it
Very
all the way
delicate
out.
on the throttle.
It's looking like a pretty handy lap here as well for Darrell. It's good to see him in the top 10. I believe it's one of his first top 10 shootouts.
He's just a little delicate on the throttle there. A bit wide of the apex, probably half a car.
Bit of oversteer on exit there as well. Just had to catch it, back out of the throttle a little bit. So he's going to cost himself a few tenths through there as well. We're coming right in the back of that car, wanting to step out everywhere from the looks of it there. So through 13.
Yeah, it doesn't look very... Oh!
Start finish, almost another one there as well. So that's a 120.694. So that's a pretty good little lap to have on the board. We've got the 55 car now on its warm-up lap.
Now, the only problem I saw there with the Bennett lap, Steve, coming out of 13 there, if you notice the car got a little bit too much of the curb on the inside there, and it looked like it wanted to roll. And so he had to get out of it a little bit, try and steer into the car a bit, and stabilise it before he could get back on it.
Definitely, well, he's cemented at least 9 positions now, so we're watching the 55 car start its lap. So the DeWalt Volvo of Dave Kinnaman through turn 1. Caught a lot of curb on the inside there, Troy, which almost made me fear for the exit a little bit. And he's not looking as sharp through there as he possibly should be.
It seems as though this car's very pointy. It's definitely wanting to hit the apexes.
Yeah, but he's taken a little bit to get on the power as well, because it's probably a little bit too pointy.
It just seemed there that as soon as he got on the throttle, the car just wanted to plough straight ahead. So obviously, the third phase of the corner is not quite as well balanced as the initial turn-in and the mid-corner.
He took a very early entry through turn 4 there as well. He's not looking like he's carrying a lot of speed through turn 5.
No, that's what I say. It's for these 5's one of those corners where it is a very risk versus reward corner.
He doesn't look like he's got quite the confidence, especially with the throttle management on this car.
Yeah, a little taily there, out of 9.
So we're through 11 now, heading towards 12. And I've noticed they're all actually staying on the right-hand side through 12. They're on entry.
Yeah, it's a very interesting line, Steve.
Through 13 nicely and across the start-finish straight as well. So this should be a faster lap.
20.9. No, 3 tenths down.
Exactly, so a little bit of a surprise there. So let's switch to the Pengelly car, the WP Concreting Simulate 8 ASR Holden Commodore. So just on his warm-up lap now as well. Not doing any weaving to warm up the tyres through Thunder Valley, certainly from what we can see. So unless he's done it earlier in the lap, but potential to enter with a little bit too much of cold tyres through turn 1, and that's the last thing you need. So through 12, 13, and we're about to start the lap with Wim Pengelly. A lot of speed through turn 1 there. He's ran all the way out. So
using a lot of the exit curve.
He's took as much road as possible there, left nothing on the table through that one. So this should be a good sector for Wayne. And into
very nice
3. Definitely looking pretty good so far. Nice looking car this year as well, the ASR cars.
Yeah, it's a striking paint job, Steve.
And we're heading up
273 by my recollections down the main straight there.
Yes, that's pretty much thereabouts for outright speed. So
a bit wide there through 5.
Yeah, he caught it nicely though. He went with it and let it run out to the curb there. So he carried as much speed as possible through there as well. So a 34.5 for sector 1, which is about a second faster than anybody else. 2 seconds faster actually. 2 seconds faster through sector 1, and about a second and a bit faster than Darrell Bennett through sector 2. Ooh, almost overcooks it through the last bit there. So this should be a really good lap from Wayne.
looking at my timing, he's about half a second up on the first and about 2/10 down.
So a 120.770 into first position there for Wayne Pengelly.
20.0. That's a cracking time, Steve.
So we should have the Gavin Cox, the number 5 DeWalt Volvo of Mr. Cox himself, as he's just getting around towards the back end of his warm-up lap. We're through 11, 12, 13 to go, so into 12, nicely through there. And the attitude of this car compared to the 55 already on the warm-up lap, it looks more aggressive if anything.
Yeah, Gavin's not leaving anything out on the table there.
So let's go. We're through turn 1. Carrying as much speed as possible through there, right out to the curbs. He's left nothing on the table through that one, into the chicane now. He's grabbed that curb on the inside, and he did just run across it there nicely. He's got good turn in through 3. And he's heading down the back straight now. That's a perfect bit sector there from the looks of it.
I'm very interested to see his line through 12, Steve, because, I mean, me personally, I'd probably start a little bit wider and cut the corner, try and straighten it out, give him the power early.
Definitely, we did think the people were doing that earlier. So 34.478 through sector 1, which is the fastest time through sector 1 at the moment.
That's right, Steve. He has gone purple.
The car's definitely a lot more aggressive with the throttle and the steering on the 5 car versus the 55 through there. You can see it dancing around.
At 24.9.
Again, purple through sector 2.
He's looking absolutely cracking here. Could be anywhere up to a second off the lead.
This should pop Gavin up into first position.
Little loose out of 13.
19.8, fantastic lap there. So he's only 2/10 off his best lap outright at the moment, so that's a phenomenal for a top 10 shootout. And
look, if you're going to go into a top 10 and be only 2/10 off your best, can't complain, can you, Steve?
Definitely not. That's when you want to do your best. So 59 car of Wayne Durr out on track now. The second of the DSA cars. Well, it'll be the first of the DSA cars for the top 10 shootout at the moment. So down through Thunder Valley, through 11, heading into 12 in a second. Again, Wayne's looking quite aggressive with this car at the moment. A little bit of a lock-up in there as well. So he's making his intentions clear before he starts the lap.
Nice and smooth out of 13.
And carry good speed through turn 1. Yeah, it's looking pretty good
Going
as well.
nicely there. A little bit of curve.
He's got it hooked in nicely through there. Let drift out to the outside. A little bit of oversteer on exit, but he tidied it up with a boot full of throttle there. Heading down towards turn 4.
When in doubt, mash it out.
That's it. Almost a bit of a front-wheel drive mentality through that one, but he got away with it nicely.
Drift school Australian method.
Coming through 4 into 5, nicely hooked into 5 as well. Could have probably given it a little bit more throttle through 5 because he left a lot of curb on the table on the outside there as well. Oh, a little bit of almost a switch back over that corner there. You've got to be so careful with turning it. Coming through Thunder Valley now as well. 34.543 first sector, 25.339. He's thereabouts.
Don't think you'll see pole, Steve. He may see probably P2, P3.
I think he's close. He's thereabouts. It says crossing the line now. And
24, seeing P3.
P3. He suffered a little bit in that final sector versus the other two. So we'll just switch to the Plus Fitness Racing car of Stuart Poitier, the number 8 car. Stuart's been a real find of the season so far. He's been right up front through the previous round, through all sessions. A little bit further down this week than he was before, but the nature of the track sort of, new drivers especially, can end up struggling a little bit with it, but Stuart's doing a phenomenal job at the moment.
He's definitely one of those drivers to watch, Steve.
And here we go, crossing
Little
the
loose out of
start-finish
13.
straight now. And Stuart Poirier turns his first lap of his top 10 shootout with Racing Leagues career. Nicely into the
A
chicane
little bit
there
of
as
curb.
well. Thumped that curb pretty hard, but he did get away with it. He's ran a bit wide through there, Troy. That might cost him, but then again, you get a better exit out of there as well. So let's see how he gets on with this
Yeah,
one.
exactly, Steve.
Car's looking pretty good as well. I do like the way this guy drives. It looks very clean and very like he thinks ahead. He's thinking 2 corners ahead almost for everything.
See, now you're saying in the Adair lap that he didn't take as much of the exit curve there. You saw on the Portia lap that he did.
Yeah, exactly. He let it run out wide, but I guarantee you when you see Turner and Clark, they'll be mullering that curb on the outside.
I've just quickly jumped on with the Van Jarsveld car to have a look at what he's doing down the back straight, and he's the same. He's just flat out.
Interesting. They're obviously trying to leave as much in Portia. Caught a little bit of the curb too much possibly through there. Could cost him a tenth or two. And we're across the start-finish straight, and this should pop him up to the front with a 1:19.7, a phenomenal lap there. And now we're down to the remaining 3 drivers.
That puts him P1, Steve.
P1 at the moment, so he'll start at least 4th. We've got the 46 Caltex Volvo of Bert van Jaarsveld. Just heading through turn 9 now, coming up through Thunder Valley. About to clip through 11 in a moment. 12 coming up nicely through there as well. And you can definitely hear the difference in the SRT Volvos as opposed to, well, certainly the 55. The engine is getting punished more.
Oh, just
you can
didn't
hear
look.
It. So here we go. We're going through turn
Didn't look
1.
stable, Steve. Out of 13.
Oh, he's got a lot of carried a lot of speed through there. The tyre was absolutely on its limit through that part, over both curbs there as well. Just balancing the car nicely into 3, doing very well through there as well. And all the way down the back straight, that was pretty much a perfect line through that section. So we'll see if he
Looked
can
okay,
upset
but
the...
out of 13, Steve, I think he might have been a little hindered in his straight line speed.
Potentially. We'll see how it stacks up. 34.4 through sector 1, so he's thereabouts with the top guys at the moment. Let's see. Ooh, up on 2 wheels as well, so he's leaving nothing on the table through there.
Oh, you can see he's really working those tyres, Steve.
We're into turn 9 now as well. The outside left is smoking all the way through there, so he's really leaning on this car. It's good to see Bert grabbing it by the scruff of the neck and dragging the time out of it. 25.117.
Looks to be a little bit understeer there.
Through the final corner. 12 into 13. I'm not sure this will be first position at the moment.
19.5 gives him
is.
P1.
19.5. Perfect lap there from Bert. Good work. So at the moment, Bert van Jaarsveld from Stuart Poirier, Gavin Cox, Wim Pengelly, Wayne Dare, Daryl Bennett, Dave Kinnaman, and Dan Forrest, who didn't complete his lap. So we're on with the 69 car of 3-time Fiat Supercar champion, SRT Caltex Volvo of Brett Clark, as we head into the final couple of corners on the warm-up lap. So there's 2 ways this can go with Brett. It's win it or bin it, and especially since he didn't have the outright pace in the first sector, I would suspect that he's probably going to go for it in this one.
How's your checkbook feeling, Steve?
Light.
Oh, that's not good.
No. Good speed carried through there as well. He's just going to avoid that curb on entry there. That's interesting. Everybody else has bashed it. He seemed to carry a lot more speed and almost surprised himself when he got to turn 3 there.
He seemed just a little bit wide of the apex too in the 4.
Yeah,
in 3.
I think he didn't care actually from the looks of it. When he got to it, he realised he was carrying more speed and he tidied it up and got the foot back in it. So 34.652 for sector 1. And we're into 5. And left a lot of curb on the outside there as well. I'd expected him to take a lot more of that, but clearly not. And we're coming up to 8. And the tricky turn 9 as well. He's got it turned in nicely there. Got on the power nice and early as well. Ran a little bit of curb there, which is dicing with death through that part. 11. Done nicely through there as
A
well.
bit of a lock up.
12. You see that with the Clark cars all the time, though. He just knows the tires are coming off it anyway, so he doesn't really care. So is this going to pop him up in front of his teammate? And it does with a 19.418.
Yes, it does.
So every car that goes out seems to be picking up a tenth. So let's see if the 408 car can keep up the phenomenal pace that he showed. So he's on his warm-up lap. It's been a pretty slow warm-up lap from the looks of it as well. So maybe a little bit of keeping as much tire on this car as possible.
He's definitely cycling those tyres, Steve.
And we're into Thunder Valley now, coming through it. Heading up to 11. Just grab it on the way in there. Heading towards 12. No lockups anywhere to be seen, so he's really being delicate with these. He's treating these as qualifiers. And we're on to
Funny enough.
finish. A little bit of brake lights there as he came across the start-finish straight. So
Yeah, I think his pedal is starting to play up, Steve.
ooh, not the time you want it to be when you're trying to drag out the best overall lap time.
We'll definitely have to run down to the pits after this session and have a chat with him about it.
It's looking pretty slow through there, Troy. Or was it my imagination?
Well, I don't know, Steve. It's a bit slow is fast.
We certainly hope so. So let's see what Sector 1 throws up. 35.3. It was a 34.6 for Clark, or 34.4 from memory through there. So he was actually slow through there, and he's not looking too fast through here either.
I think this brake, yeah, his brakes are stuck on, Steve.
I can see it. They're flashing all the way down. Yeah, look. Yeah, they're coming on as soon as he gets back on the throttle almost. Yeah, he's not looking sharp at all through here. He's going to struggle to crack the top 3 at this rate. Of all the times to have a technical issue, he almost spins it on the final corner there.
A
Eighth.
120.8.
Oh dear, that is so unfortunate, but I tell you what, it's going to give us a hell of a race to watch him coming through from there.
Wow, P8.
That is unbelievable.
There's that surprise we were talking about, Steve.
So there you go, there's our top 10 on screen for you now. Brett Clark takes pole from his SRT teammate Bert van Jaarsveld second, Stuart Poitier doing a phenomenal job third, Gavin Cox pulled one out of the bag in fourth, Pengelly fifth, Wayne Dare doing a phenomenal job as well in eighth, Darrell Bennett, star of qualifying for me, up in eighth position, and eighth position Kai Turner. Unfortunate Dave Kinnaman in ninth and Dan Forrest in 10th. So that's your top 10 rundown there as well. So let's grab the top 3 drivers now. Let's have a chat to them. So
I gotta run down from the pit, Steve.
yeah, get them all down here. So welcome the top 3 to the post qualifying interviews, and if we just come to you first of all, Stuart, phenomenal job there in third position. Did look like it was going to be fourth until Kai obviously had a few problems there, but well done. How was it for you?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I didn't think I'd get that time actually in the top 10, having to go out one lap, but yeah, it turned out okay.
Yeah, as we said on the comms there, it was your first top 10 shootout with us as well. Perfect job, mate. Well done. And I did say I do like the way you drive. You seem to be almost looking 2 corners ahead all the way through, and I think it served you well throughout that session.
Yeah, thanks for that, Steve.
No worries. Bert, we'll come to you. Your second position. You've had the pace all weekend from the looks of it as well, so congratulations on that. You got anything for the race?
Hope so, Steve. There, thanks very much. The track just feels absolutely fantastic, and second place, I'm over the moon.
Absolutely. So the team. And Brett, we come to you. Pole position. Well done. Perhaps a little bit unexpected. Would that be fair to say?
I'd say so. Yeah, the lap was really scruffy, really scruffy. I don't know if you watched it on
We
the live feed, but I ran wide a few times.
we seen you come through turn 3, the after the chicane there as well, and it did look like you completely missed the whole corner, but decided to just
Yeah,
get on with it anyway. So
yeah,
um,
it was awful. But yeah, really pleased for Bert. Our first sort of 1-2 on the grid as well. Hopefully we can
Yeah,
convert it into the
awesome.
race.
yeah, well done, guys, and hopefully we'll speak to you after the race. So congratulations to the top 3, and as I say, speak to you after race 1.
Cheers, Matt.
Thanks, Steve.
So I'll tell you what, Troy, that's a bit of a relief to see the 2 SRT cars, 1 and 2.
Speak for yourself.
Finally got it together. Really unfortunate for Kai there. So we'll just take a short 5-minute break. We'll keep the TV view on there for everybody, so you can see what's happening, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes or so, and get stuck into race 1. So welcome back everybody to our coverage of round 2 from Mid Ohio of the Racing Leagues V8 Supercars Championship. Shortly we will be heading into race 1, so we'll just pop up the format for everybody to see. So we're through the practice qualifying, top 10 shootout and warm up. Race 1 is a 20 lap race on the hard tyre. Race 2 is a 36 lap on the soft tyre with a compulsory pit stop, but everyone would have to make a pit stop anyway with that tyre. So should make for some interesting racing to say the least. So as I say, 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining and we'll be into race 1. So Troy, who are we looking at for race 1?
Look, it's really hard to go past, I think, Brett Clark and Bert Van Jarsfield. Starting front row, 1-2, they're definitely two guys to look out for. But I suppose, really, if we want to throw a smoky in there, you've got to look out for Kai Turner. He's going to be a man on a mission, providing he's got that brake issue sorted.
Absolutely, and just on our YouTube feed as well, a big shout out to one of our previous V8 Supercar champions, Rob Herbert. Hi Rob, pity you're not on track with us. But I'm sure we will be seeing Rob in the endurance racing series, sitting alongside in the number 1 car of Dan Stevens.
I do believe he is penciled in for that seat.
I think he's a shoe-in for that one. So we're just looking on the warm-up lap here. We've got a little bit of formation finishing by the Rizla team, with Kai Turner trying to get through and test if his brakes are working there. So not the ideal scenario there for the 408 car.
No, definitely not. And the car seems to be okay now. I've been watching it the last couple of laps up here with me binoculars and reporting back to the team that the brake lights seem to be okay.
Okay, well, we'll see in the race, which is about to start the grid formation lap in a couple of seconds. So interesting there, Kai's done it at 121.647 in the warm-up. Pengelly second, Portier third, Bennett fourth, Cox fifth, but the SRT car's sixth there for Brett Clark, and I haven't seen that the 46 car has actually set a lap, so could be interesting to see how Bert gets on the race. I certainly would have thought he'd have tried to get a few laps in.
I definitely now, Steve. This is something that no one's probably spoke about. Fuel burn. Now, from what I'm hearing, a full tank will not go the distance at a decent race pace.
No, it won't, and it's very tantalizingly close. I think 19
laps
is right. 19 laps. Surely somebody is going to breathe on that throttle for a few laps and try and drag 20 out of it.
Well, it's been a discussion that's been very hot in the DSA garage. I know me and Kai spent about an hour debating it back and forth this morning, and I can't even tell you where we're going with it. It's up to him at the end of the day.
I think, yes, the nut holding the wheel is going to have to make the final decision on this kind of one, to say the least. We're just hearing some inside information there from the pits. Rob Herbert's wandered around the back of the pits at the minute, just talking to a few people and, putting the smooze on. And there's a bit of a rumour.
He's smoozing and woozing.
It might be a bit of a rumour that he might be popping in as a wild card there for a race event shortly. That should put the cat amongst the pigeons.
Well, definitely would be, and it'd be interesting to see. So, wouldn't it be interesting to see if we had Kurt and Rob in the one race? Because we do know that Kurt did push him at one stage.
Yeah, well, you're obsessed with Kurt a little bit, aren't you? So, we'll
oh, look, how can you not be? He's done an sensational job when he came on here.
Yeah, well, Rob he's just flown back from Outer Mongolia or somewhere from last I seen, so he's had a good holiday and a bit of a rest. It looks like he's eager to keep his shoe in before the Enduros, with his penciled in status. So let's see how he gets on.
I mean, realistically, who wouldn't want Rob Herbert in their team? I mean, you'd be crazy not to.
Probably Brett Clark, Kai Turner. They possibly wouldn't be so happy to see him.
They're not happy to see him, but wouldn't they? They'd love to see him in their team.
Well, the first one you got to beat your teammate, and you're gonna have to you're gonna struggle to get on top of him.
Oh, most definitely. But when it comes time for the enduro seasons, to know that you've got someone of that caliber and consistency piloting your car with you, if you're Brett Clark or Kai Turner, you sort of can pretty much sit back and say, "Yep, got this one in the bag."
We've a challenge thrown down there from Rob Herbert to stick Kurt in his 63 Alpha and see how he goes on track. I do believe that'll
Well,
be
you
an
know what?
interesting one.
Let's see if we can tee up a seat swap.
I think Kurt might be terrified if if he had to get in that. I've seen some of the racing that Rob's been doing, and it's been interesting to say the least.
Not just put Kurt in Rob's Alpha, but let's put Rob in Kurt's Dunlop Series V8 supercar.
I think the rest of them would have to look out, to be honest.
Oh, look, let's just make sure there's no one else on the track for Rob because we know how competitive he can get.
Sounds like Troy's organising the challenge of the year there. I'm sure Rob would take that one up.
Hey, look. If I can do anything to facilitate someone achieving one of my dreams for themselves, why not?
I'd actually watch
And
Rob.
again,
I'd actually watch Rob trying to race him in his 63 Alpha versus the V8. He'd have a go.
he wouldn't hold back. He wouldn't die wondering.
Definitely. So we're 3 minutes away from the start, so the cars should be making their way out anytime shortly.
Yeah,
And
they're
there you are.
definitely a flow out. Ooh.
And a reset there, which is always handy. We've lost one of the drivers.
Good old Factor 2 internet.
But
Ooh,
Mr. Herbert has been heard saying that he's pretty good in rental taxis, so he'll stick it on the pole.
Oh, here we go. He's talking a big game. Kurt, if you're out there listening, Sunshine, have a crack.
So as we just wait on whoever's missing, I didn't see who's actually had that issue, so we're down to 19 drivers. We should have 20, so just waiting on whoever it is to pop back in.
Tell you what, Steve, there's a pretty hot debate going off in the chat room tonight. I'm watching the live feed.
I'm telling you. So apologies, I don't know what it is with this last version of R Factor 2, but we always seem to lose one driver just before the start, at least one, and it's happened again. Mr. Herbert, he won this thing before it was cool.
I don't think there was ever a stage where racing a V8 supercar on a computer was not cool. Or is that uncool? I don't know. People think I'm a nerd.
We keep telling ourselves that, Troy.
Yeah. It's always cool.
So, somebody's obviously having a major issue because we haven't seen them reappear by now. They're normally pop back in again, so let's just wait and see. Let me just see if I can get Dan on the comms. Dan from Steve. Dan?
Yeah, g'day, Steve.
Hello.
Yeah, how are you doing, Dan, for the race? Obviously a bit disappointing in qualifying there.
Yeah, like I said, mate, I'm not at 100% at the moment, so I'm just trying my best to get through. That's the first time in 3 seasons I've actually been outside the top 10, mate, so a bit gutted, but never mind.
Not your favourite track either, and sounding a bit like a New Zealand pirate there. It's not really going to help you a lot.
Nah, not at all. Can't see out of my right eye. I got the flu. Every time I cough, my chest hurts, and the track I don't like at all.
Perfect set of circumstances. Well done. I'll talk to you in a bit.
Okay, mate.
So we've got Wayne Pengelly on the radio with us here, Troy, as well. Well, that was a good effort there in qualifying. How you fixed for the race?
Yeah, pretty good, Steve. I mean, basically the whole time through warm up and then quali, I've done my PB, so you can't ask for more than that, mate. Car does feel good. To be honest with you, I felt like I had a better race setup than a quali setup. So I haven't done much in the hard tyres, to be honest with you, but mate, more so with the softs.
I suppose the key thing here is it costing you a bit of lap time not having Mr. Bruns on track with you, or is it actually speeding you up?
I'd like to say it's speeding me up, wouldn't you? But just to stir him up. But
certainly looks that way. We did have his ute up on the screen earlier for everybody to see as well. It looks like a busted up Ford ute to me as well. So is he debuting for the dark side this weekend?
yeah, I don't know what's going on there, mate. I don't know what he's doing in the ute, but I'm sure he's having a lot of fun.
Well,
I do believe he's trying to set a PB record for actually making it 5 meters. So he might be a chance.
good stuff. We'll drop you back up, Wayne. Good luck for the race.
Thanks, guys.
So just while we're waiting on the race getting started, we've got Daryl Bennett joining us live in the commentary as well. Daryl, real star of qualifying there for me personally was yourself. You got your way into the top 10 and then you cemented the position in the top 10 shootout. Well done, first of all, and how are you looking for the race?
Thanks for that. I'm looking at hopefully a top 10 finish. That's my ideal finish.
Yeah, you're looking pretty locked into the top 10 as well. Anything unique with this track that sort of plays to your strengths, is it? Or is it you've just managed to put it all together for the weekend so far?
Just sort of winging it. That's my motto.
Excellent, well done, and good luck for the race.
Thanks for that.
So just while we're waiting, we've got Gavin Cox in the commentary booth with us here as well. Gavin, that was a pretty good setup there for qualifying. You did quite well in the top 10 shootout there. How are you looking for the race?
Thanks, Steve, for the comments there. Yeah, for the race, mate, not so sure for this first one. Going over to the hards now changes the setup a little bit.
So it's one thing we've been noticing all the way through pre-season and obviously round one is you guys don't seem to have the speed you had with the Ford. Is that car dependent, is it? Or is it just the other guys have pulled something out?
Steve, I think it's probably both. A little bit of car, maybe a little bit of driver, and the competition has definitely stepped up, mate.
Excellent. Well, good luck for the race, Gavin, and hopefully we get to talk to you after the race. So, good luck.
Cheers, Steve. Fingers crossed.
Good. Good to get a viewpoints there from the other drivers as well as they're coming in. So we've got everybody back on track now, I think. So we should be heading towards race one any second now. So the 4-minute countdown is just happening. We've got the one car on screen there. Just we're waiting on them all to make the way to pit exit and head out. So not long now, and we should have some on-track action.
Hallelujah.
So Troy, we've mentioned previously that this, of all tracks off the grid, it's a bit of a handful getting through turn one, and you've got the worst thing possibly for a team manager with a track like this is car 1 and 2 are from the same team. Surely they're going to have to work out the start well before the start as to who is going to get out in front.
Look, I think that's got to come down to a very basic style of racing, whereas whoever's got their nose in front by the braking marker, I would say, has right away through the turn.
Absolutely. You've also got to be careful that you don't leave the door open for someone else to throw it in from third position, which is probably a better place to start than second this action with this track in particular. Although if you can hold it on the outside, you do have the inside for the next one, but you do run side by side through the chicane as well. So it could be a little while before, it could be at least almost right up to turn 4 before these cars are sorted out into line order. So we could see some fireworks off the grid.
Look, turn 4 is definitely going to be where they sort of maybe pull into a straight line and find a rhythm sort of thing. But even then, I think you might see a little bit of argy-bargy into 5 from the back anyway.
Definitely going to be interesting to see how this plays out. So we're just on the warm-up lap at the minute, 2 minutes and 14-second countdown before the green light. So the guys are just slowly making their way around. There's obviously no value in trying to warm your tyres or your brakes at all on this lap, because you're going to sit and they're going to go cold on the grid and you might have taken something out of them. So this is the hard tyre race as well. So hopefully everybody's had a little bit of a run on them in practice. I suspect some people haven't even put them on the car yet, so they'll be pretty evident straight away.
Ben Jarsfield, I think. No, Brett Clark has had a spin on the warm-up.
And he's hit the wall as well.
Just winding back the clock here on my screen.
Yeah, we've just got it. He's just spun to the outside and nosed the car into the wall. Now that's going to make things interesting, because he can't escape. He's going to have to drive round with that car as it is. Does he hit the outside again?
Looking at the data logging here, Steve.
Is it?
Looking at the data logging here, it's just the car's just kicked. He's driving the straight line, accelerating, a little bit of clutch, and the car's just gone round.
That's interesting. So we've got the pole sitter rolling up to the grid last with potential damage on the front of that car as well. So not exactly what you want to see for your first 1-2 start of the season.
No, but it only looked very small here. The front bar does seem to still be in one piece, so he may have gotten away with it.
Just trying to see if we can see a splitter on the front. Yes, we can. Yep, it looks intact. He's going to have to be careful. He's now got to pick his way through this grid to the front as well. And that's going to be a challenge in itself. There we go. We got one of the 555 cars just rolling up last as well. So heading towards the front now, Clark. On pole. I can't see the 46 car. The 46 car was... I know, 46 car is there. It's just out of camera view at the moment. Getting ready to go. Green, and a bit of a tardy start there from Clark, and Poitiers took advantage and got to the inside as well. Van Jaarsveld didn't take advantage of his second place start at all, and is into third position. So Clark in first, Poitiers second, Van Jaarsveld third, Pengelly fourth. Everybody's looking pretty clean through there right now, and the 69 car is leading the way through 3. Poitiers as well ran a little bit wide there, which might give Van Jaarsveld the overlap on the way down. And in fact, Van Jaarsveld is right under the rear wing of Poitiers as well, looking to get back into second position sooner rather than later. And Pengelly is going with them as well. And Van Jaarsveld's trying to get the overlap. Is he going to make the move? He's had to back out of it a little bit there. Very clean start all the way through the field.
Yeah, it is a very uneventful start. More so, probably the talking point is the fact that Van Jaarsveld missing the start.
He did completely miss that as well. In fact, both SRT cars didn't make the best of the starts at all there. And a lot of tyre smoke on the off from Brett Clark on the outside there. Van Jaarsveld on the inside looked like he missed it. Poitiers took advantage straight away, and like a rat up a drain pipe is into second position. And looking for Kai Turner has actually dropped a few positions, if anything. In fact,
yeah,
yes,
he was back to 11th at one spot. Oh, we've had an incident, Bennett, and it looks like can't see the other car involved.
Where is it, Troy?
I think it was Dan Forrest. Bennett and Forrest coming out of 12, I think it was.
And I can't actually see where Bennett's up to 5th position now, so he's doing a blinding job getting going there as well. And Turner's up into 9th now. So Bennett in front of Gavin Cox at the minute in the Pepsi Max car there, the 23 car heading down the back straight. So we've got Brett Clark is now 1.25 seconds off in the lead. Stuart Poitiers second, Bert Van Jaarsveld third, losing a bit of ground on this one, but he's come back up again on the straight. And Pengelly is going with them as well, so a little bit of a gap back from Pengelly to Daryl Bennett. And Gavin Cox is all over the back of the Bennett car at the minute as well, looking to make a move sooner rather than later. Wayne Dare is in front of his teammate now in 7th position, so Turner and Dare together on track, and Kinnaman coming up behind them as well.
Now I'm getting a bit nervous here, Steve. The last time we saw the 2 DSA cars on the same bit of bitumen that ended up with one of them off track.
Just watching this now, we've got Dare on screen with Kai Turner in the background, the blue car of Wayne Dare, the orange car of Kai Turner there, and he's locked the tires going in there a little bit, Turner as well. He's getting aggressive again early in the race. But clearly, Kai's decided he's not going to bother with a pit, or he is going to bother with a pit stop, so he's just going to use these tyres up and get through as quickly as possible. But Wayne Dare, as we've seen all throughout practice and qualifying, has got a bit of pace this weekend, so it's not going to be an easy job. Any team orders at DSA?
What are they?
That's what we like to hear. So here we go.
At the end of the day, Steve, I'll let these boys run as long as they run clean.
Turner's right under the rear wing of the sister car in front now as well. He's coming down, trying to make a move to the outside, and he does, and he's through nice and cleanly as well. There's good racing between teammates there. Let's take a little move back up front. We've got Van Jaarsveld all over the back of that Plus Fitness Holden in front there as well, but there's no way through at the moment. Looks to me like Clark's actually just got himself a little bit of a gap in front and he's just balancing it, so I would say he's probably unsure of whether he's going to pit or not at this point.
Looking at these times, Steve, he's doing 21s. I dare say he is going to stop.
21 still a couple of seconds off the outright, although that was on the soft tire, so it's an 18.5 I think is the outright lap record, so I'd say he's still thinking. And Pengelly in 4th position there is just losing a little bit of pace to the top 3 in front there as well. He's now 4.6 seconds back. He's a couple of seconds back off 3rd position outright there as well. Daryl Bennett is doing a phenomenal job in 5th position. He's got Gavin Cox right on the rear wing, and then Gavin Cox has got Kai Turner right under the rear wing of the 5 DeWalt Volvo. So just watch Turner. He's probably going to pop out here and try and make a move, but then he's got to watch that Cox doesn't make a move as well. That's exactly what's happened. Gavin steams down the inside of the 23 car as well, makes the move. Does he leave it?
Contact.
He didn't actually make the move. I was surprised. I thought he got that clearly, but Bennett's got a lot of grip on the outside and kept it together. I don't think the contact between the 4-8 and the 5 car is going to have helped the situation at all there. And we're back to
there's actually contact between him and Bennett as well.
Ooh, Turner very wide off there, almost out in the boondocks. He's lost a good 10, 12 car lengths through that section as well. So, Troy, I'm going to say this now, but I think he's probably abused those tires too much too soon.
Oh, yeah, quite possibly. He's definitely working those hards, but obviously he's definitely going to take that pit stop, you would think.
Oh, I definitely think so. So we've got the 5 car coming back up on the 23 again, while trying to keep his rear view clear as well of the 4-8, which is now grabbing car length by car length as we head down the back straight into the chicane. Cox just doesn't seem to be able to turn in as well as the 23 there, which is probably what's costing it. This Turner looked at the inside through turn 3 there, but you really got to hope the other driver's seen you early enough to make that move.
It looks like those lights are on Steve again.
Yeah, it looks like the second of the DSA cars is now making a move on the sister car. Yeah, I would suspect he's got a technical issue. And the 5 car wasn't able to make it through again. Yep, Wayne Dare is through on his teammate, or is he? No, Kai holds the inside again. And this is going to impact his teammate's race, and it is as well because the 55 is there as well. Just watching through this section, see if we can see those brake lights on early. They're off there, Troy, so it looks like it's intermittent issue at best.
Yeah, it's a problem that he's apparently had in the past, and it seems to be a recalibration. So obviously running the G27 pedal setup, I do understand that feeling he's having. That's happened to me a bit too.
So he's creeping back up again on the 5 car in front. The 5 is trying to deal with the 23, but as we say, it doesn't look like Gavin's got a lot of confidence on the entry.
Yeah, well, that time around for Turner, it was a 123.4, so definitely having that brake issue show itself again.
So he's got right back up on the rear wing of the 5 car as well, and he's then lost a little bit through the apex there, but right up on the curb as well. He's really throwing that car around. He's trying his best with what he's got at the moment. But this
He's very Brett Clark-like, Steve. He's not leaving anything left on the table.
Here we go, the 5 car making another move, but not able to get in there. Bennett's ran wide and come back on again. Turner's round the outside, but he's going to have to go the long way through there. He's got to hold it out there, the 5 car.
Got the inside.
Loses out on that one. Yeah.
Wow, bit of luck there for the 408.
Opportunist move there by Kay Turner, but he's got to do that because he's losing points all the time that he's down, stays down the field. And he's now after the 23 car. The second of DSA cars is after the 5 car now as well. So it'll be interesting to see if Kymek's moved. Oh, he's tapped the rear of the 23 there as well on entry. That's just completely upset the 23 and cost Kai a few car lengths as well, so he's got to get back on it as well. And he really wants to catch as much speed through this section as possible and then try and make the move down into turn 4, but he's lost quite a bit of time through there.
We've got Pengelly sitting solid there in 4th position. Moving back up the field, Stuart Portier seems to just be slightly gapping for Jarsfield.
Look at this. Oh, Bennett's off on the outside there. I think there might actually been a little bit of contact on the exit of turn 3 there between the 408. The 408's lost position to Gavin Cox as well. So I think that's something that will have to be evaluated after the race. So Cox is back up into 5th position now. Ran a little bit wide, almost there as well, which almost invited Kai Turner to make another move. And the second of the DSA cars is right underneath the wing of the sister car at the moment as well. So bit of a challenging time to be team boss of this team.
Yeah, it's I don't want to look, Steve.
So looking at Turner's looking at making a move through Thunder Valley. He's going to have to go better than that if he's going to get round there. I'm coming into the turn 12 section as well. Cox just runs out a little bit wider. That was that entry that we talked about earlier, that some people take a really wide entry into that one, which makes the driver behind think that they've been invited through, and then they find the car turns across them. So we almost had that incident right there as well. So that car's out of control of Turner. I think the tires are gone.
Just having a look at the incident between Bennett and Turner, from the onboard view, you can see Bennett has come back across. Turner had a door open on the inside there, and Bennett's just swiped across the front end of Turner's car.
Unlucky there for Darrell. He's down in 12th position following that. We'll just take a look where our reigning champion is. He's down in 10th position and he's battling away at the moment with the Dan Forrest car, and he's trying to make the move into turn 4. Forrest is going to run alongside him and they almost touch again, and Dan just clears the other Dan there as well, and he's setting sail after Dave Kinnemond. And we've got Thor Johnson, who's driving a blinding race as well and made his way up into 11th from almost right at the back of the grid. And it should be said that Thor finished 2nd in one of the European Series races here last season as well, with a last corner move on yours truly to steal one of the podium positions. So he knows his way around this track.
Yeah, I've had a few battles with Thor as well, but going a little bit further back to the second Ranger car there, Norman Clark, the plague's running mirror tint, Steve, limo tint on his windows. You can't see him inside his car or not. I'm going to ask some question of what's going on in there.
Yeah, it's looking like a bit of a challenge, to say the least, there for Norman. He's got Darren Goosey just in front of him.
Looking back at the front here, gap seems to be managing itself here between Portier and Clark.
Actually, looking at that, it's come down by 7/10 in the last 2 laps. And yeah, it's 1.1 seconds at the moment back to Stuart Portier. So just wondering if Clark's decided to back it down a little bit. It's under a second as we enter that corner at the moment now.
is he now gone into the conservation mode? Is he going for a zero stopper, Steve?
I have a feeling he's toying with the idea. It definitely looks like it from his lap times. 22.168 on that last lap, 121.8 from Poitiers. So I'd say that the 8 car is probably reckoning on making a stop. Clark is still playing with the idea, I would imagine, and Van Jaarsveld has dropped off to 4.3 seconds back, so perhaps a little bit of a team strategy switch in the middle of the race, thinking that they're either not going to pit and try and make it as far as possible, or they do a quick splash and dash towards the end.
Yeah, they're obviously leaving some flexibility there in their choices, Steve.
Yeah, I think Van Jaarsveld's obviously had a good look at the 8 car for quite a few laps and decided that he wasn't going to get round it safely. So just a reevaluation of the strategy, switch things around a little bit and get going again. And just drop back to 4th position. We've got Pengelly, 13.5 seconds off the overall lead. This is another car that I would like to keep an eye on towards the end as well, as to whether he is tempted into the same type of strategy as well, or whether he's actually this is his pace, but we know he can run a bit faster than this, so I think he's probably toying with the idea.
Oh, sometimes you just really want to get inside their head, don't you, Steve?
Yeah, sometimes you just want to ask the question, don't you, and see if anybody's going to try it on a no stopper, but they're going to have to save probably a lap or 2 laps maybe worth of fuel to try and get this home, and it's a phenomenal
when you
battle.
think about it, you're exactly right, Steve. When you think about it, but it's a 21 lap race because you got 1 lap for your out lap. You know what, even 21 and a half, because by the time you sit there idle, if you haven't been smart enough to program a shut down and start button onto your car, you're looking at 21 and a half laps. So that's so much, as you say, 2.5 laps of fuel. They've got to try and find somewhere here.
So I would imagine if we're going to see any stops, we would see them shortly, because they'll want to cut the race down the middle, start with a half, decent amount of fuel, and get a good sort of balanced life out of both sets of tyres as well. So, but interesting if somebody like Turner takes a pit stop now and tries the undercut on Cox, because he's clearly not going to be able to get around him on track without a little bit more of a push. Having said that, he has another stab at it. He's done the same move as before, but he's off the track and onto the curb, and wasn't able to make it happen through 4 and 5 there, but definitely showing his hand.
No, so I dare say, looking at Clark now, he's gone past the pit entry, so he could be going for that zero stop.
I suspect he's definitely toying the idea. 22.456 on that lap for Clark, 22.213 for Van Jaarsveld, 22.184 for Poitiers, so he's backing it down a little bit as well. Just looking at Van Jaarsveld.
Turner is in, and so is Dare. Both DSA cars in the pits.
I suspected as much, that go for the undercut, see what he can do. Remains to be seen what Gavin Cox does now. We know that Gavin's one of the easiest on the car, so he possibly might try it, but I think he maybe had to push a little bit harder than he wanted to earlier on, so we could see him in on this lap. So we'll just keep the 5 car on screen and see if he reacts to the actual so we're coming around into turn 4 now with the 5 car.
Clark seems to have picked the pace up here. Could he be doing a hot in lap?
Not sure at the moment. 35.593 sector 1, 35.695 for Poitiers, 35.994. So they're thereabouts. But I'm just looking at Pengelly now, who's dropping into the clutches of the 5 car. I'm thinking that Pengelly's evaluating if he can make it or not. They're going to be glued to that fuel number.
Is that the Winkler car coming out? Yes, it is. So clearly there was no damage done to the Clark car in that little spin he had on the warm-up.
Stoppers. So he's just coming into the final complex right now. Keep an eye on Pengelly first there. Troy, where is he making his way out? Pengelly car is just coming out now, so it's going to be very close through here, but Turner should have the speed.
Oh, Turner!
Oh, they're going to run side by side.
Yes.
Yes, he's got that overlap nicely through there, so that effectively is him up into
Huge undercut for Turner.
Into fourth position, that should be. So let's see what Cox does at this point. He's right under
That's
the
a
51
massive gain
car
there.
at the minute. Looks like Pengelly's going to try and follow him through on the 51 car as well. It's going to be very late into that turn. Not this lap. And we've got the 69 car is in the pit, so he's decided to pit. Poitier is in as well. Is Van Jaarsveld in too? No, Van Jaarsveld's gone into the lead of the race. So let's see if Bert's had his thinking cap on. And it might not actually be possible to do the full race. But let's watch the SRT versus the Plus Fitness Racing crews together and see who gets out first. Plus Fitness car is moving first. It's going to get him in the pits from the looks of it. And it does.
Massive, massive move.
And the 8 car is,
Well done, Stuart.
is effectively into the lead of the race, and he is in third position overall with only Bert Van Jaarsveld, Gavin Cox in front, both who haven't stopped. So a blinding stop by the Plus Fitness team there.
Sensational stuff. So they must have really only taken on fuel, Steve.
Definitely, but this is where Clark is at his strongest at fighting on cold tyres as well. He will be able to make moves that possibly other people won't even attempt. So going into turn 4 as well, he's just pulling himself up alongside there. Or sorry, up to the rear of the 8 car. Stuart's really going to have to drive the wheels off this on this lap to try and get those tyres into the operating window.
No, it's going to be interesting. We've got Van Jaarsveld at the front. Is he staying out still?
Not quite sure.
It appears so, yes.
Yes, he's still staying out. So is he going to try and run this race?
Lap time that time around was a 1:23, so he's definitely slowed it right up. And so is Gavin Cox only doing a 23 as well. So these boys are definitely on a zero-stop strategy.
It definitely looks like it to me. With 6 laps remaining. We've got the Poitier car crossing the line now. So just looking at the lap time with the pit stop, a 1:38.820 for Poitier and a 1:41.290 for Clark there. So that almost looks to me like Clark didn't let the pits know in time that he was on the way in, or they've overfueled that 69 car, or potentially underfueled the 8 car.
Well, could it have been that he just took on that extra 3 or 5 litres that he needed to make that extra lap? And not worried about tyres.
Yeah, let's see how this shakes out. So we've got Turner now. He's in 7th position. He's 28 seconds off the lead. Quite a bit off Clark. I think he's 12 seconds off Clark and Poitier, who are right together on track at the moment. Let's see if we can get them up on screen as well. And they're coming up to the Gavin Cox car, which has not stopped and is in 2nd position at the moment. So it's going to be interesting because Gavin is going to race for this one. So there's going to be no easy wins through here for the 8 car.
No, there isn't.
Let's see. The 8 car looks like it's got the pace over the 69 car at the moment, definitely. He's pulled out and maintained this bit of a gap as well.
Look, Gavin's no easy car to get past, but if they've both taken tyres, these guys should absolutely chew up and spit out Gavin.
You would think so, but we know that Gavin isn't easy to pass. Almost made it too easy almost there, actually, just speaking about it. And he swings it into the chicane there, but Poitier was on the outside. Clark is sniffing around, looking to take any advantage that he can out of this situation. And as you can see, Gavin's struggling to get it turned in through the apex there, as well as the other 2. And here we go. So down into turn 4 is the obvious place to make a move. Gavin will probably move right to try and protect that line. Doesn't need to on this lap. There's no shortage of straight line speed out of that 5 car at the moment.
Looking at the live timing, Steve, Kai Turner's gone fastest with a 20.7, so he's definitely not hanging around.
And just looking at Van Jaarsveld there as well, who's still out. He ran a 1:24.411 on that lap, so he's definitely toying with the idea of not stopping because he's losing too much time. He wouldn't be on the podium, I would imagine, with this gap at the moment.
Well, now, I think what's worked for Van Jaarsveld here, Steve, is the battle that Gavin Cox is now finding himself in. He's going to be slowing himself up even more so now, so it really gives Van Jaarsveld a chance to roll out of the throttle completely almost and coast half the
Well,
lap.
we just had Van Jaarsveld on the screen there attempting to turn into turn 12, and that car was refusing to turn. So there's a bit of an issue at the front of that car with tyre life, I would imagine, as well. So it's 9-10 seconds at the moment, the gap between first and second. So Bert's able to clear off and try and keep it steady. He could still pull out the win on this one, and Portier is right on the back of the 5 car at the moment.
Last time around, Steve, it was a 25-1 for Van Jaarsveld, 22-6 for Cox, 22-7, and a 23-1.
Bit of a mistake there from Stuart Portier in the 8 car as well. He got a better exit than the 5 car, but it stepped out onto the curb a little bit, and that's cost him for this lap as well. A big lock-up for Gavin Cox going into the turn 4.
He's ran wide.
But he's kept it straight. He's kept the other 2 behind him still. And it looks to me like the 69 car hasn't got anything for the 8 car at this point in the race.
Looking further back into the field, we've got Kinnaman and Stevens, old sparring partners, back at it. And look who's looming in the background, Kai Turner.
And they haven't pitted either, so they're obviously trying for a non-stop race too. So interesting to see what Van Jaarsveld's time is when he comes across the start-finish straight on this lap. So he's on lap 16 out of 20 at the moment. So lap 17 he's about to enter now. 28.312 on that lap. The gap's down to 3 seconds. He's in the pits. Not sure what's going on with that strategy. Too late to be making the move. And Stuart Portier is around the outside of Gavin Cox, is he, at the moment? And
That's just a free kick, Steve, for a lot of guys there.
Yeah, Van Jaarsveld's come out in 7th position behind Kai Turner there. He's ran too late if he was going to make that work. And Portier is into the lead now. We've got old sparring partners. We've got the 5 and the 69. 69 trying to make a move now with 3 laps to go. And yeah, fresher tyres. He definitely made that move. Nice and easy through there as well. That 8 car is looking pretty strong for a win here for me, Troy.
I tell you what, he's a real big smoke, isn't he, Steve?
Absolutely, he's doing a
He's driven a
phenomenal job.
superb race.
And we've got to give a big shout out to Dan Stevens as well. Injured and still holding it together, and he's in the 5th position at the moment, still to make a stop. So we've got Gavin Cox, Dave Kinnaman, Dan Stevens, the only cars not to make a stop in the top 10 at the moment, running in 3rd, 4th and 5th, and remains to be seen if they can actually make it all the way at this point.
Sorry to break it to you as well, Steve, but Van Jaarsveld back to 8th.
I've just seen that as well. He's just lost another position there. Not sure if he's had an issue.
Turner giving Stevens the hurry up here.
Definitely, and Stevens is right on the 55 car of Kinnaman there as well.
It could be a 2-for-1 deal here.
Could be. Remains to be seen, as we say, if they're able to make this strategy pan out.
I think it's key for him to get a good run out of the straight here, out of turn 3, and try and make a move under brakes into 4. Stevens has heard me. Oh, there's contact! Massive, massive moment. Turner, Stevens and Kinnaman. Stevens into the grandstand.
Interesting one there, but no doubt those two will be unhappy about that one. And we're in the final lap. Stuart Portier is leading, going into the chicane, locked up the brakes a little bit there. Doesn't look like Clark's got anything for that 8 car at the moment.
Just watching the replay here, Steve, you see Dan is right up in the slipstream, makes the move early, pulls, and it's almost as if Kinnaman's just locked up and thanks for coming.
I'm not quite sure there. I had a look at we had a replay on screen there, and it looked like they didn't actually touch. It looked like the 55 car just seemed to hit fresh. Ooh, Poirier almost spins it on the last lap, and Clark is right on him now as well. He's not going to let this one go easy. So coming into turn 9 now as well, Brett Clark trying to make a move and get the third win of the season, but it doesn't look like he's going to get it from what I can see so far. 8 car doing a phenomenal job into 11. Into 12, and there's nowhere to pass at this point now, so I would say that 8 car should pick up this win. And he does. Stuart Poirier takes the win from Brett Clark. Gavin Cox, really phenomenal job to bring that home without a stop in 3rd position. And Kai Turner doing a fantastic job to get up into 4th, following all of the issues he had in that earlier stint. Pengelly brings it home in 5th. Dave Kinnaman brings it home in 6th.
Steve, we've had Michael Cadman obviously misjudge his fuel. He's sitting there, lap 17, he's parked the car. It's out of RPM.
Oh dear. So we got Van Jarsveld in... Where did we have it? Van Jarsveld is popped up as 16th on my timing screen.
Mine too, oh dear. Now, also looking,
that's a penalty, a pit lane penalty or something.
Darren Goosey, he's looking at his car now. He's missing a rear wing, so he's obviously been involved in an incident somewhere there. Nick Winkler elevated to 15th. I think that's his highest finish so far this season.
Just got the replay again of the Kinnaman and Stevens incident. So Stevens moves to the inside as well. And
Gavin Cox out of petrol.
Just going to have a... Still confused by that event. It definitely looks like there was some contact alongside, and the Kinnaman car has spun out and across into it. So interesting to say the least. So let's get our top 3 down for the post-race interview. So we got our winner... So welcome everybody to the post-race interview. Congratulations to the top 3. We've got Stuart Poirier taking his first win from Brett Clark, from Gavin Cox in 3rd. Gavin, we'll just come to you first. We suspected a few people would try the no-stop strategy, and it paid off handsomely for you.
Yeah, I was awful worried, Steve. It coughed over the finish line.
Yeah, we just seen that ran out completely after the finish, but congratulations, well done. That must be you must be very pleased with that run.
Yeah, I was really pleased, Steve. I had some good pace there. Just wish I didn't have to go into fuel conserve mode. I probably could have run it out to the end.
Good work, well done. Brett, we come to you next. Quite a significantly longer pit stop than the 8 car there, which ultimately cost you the lead. And then in the second sector of the race, it didn't look like you had the pace that the 8 car had.
Yeah, I've been struggling a little bit with getting 100% on top of these screens and whatnot, and then I overfueled it as well. But oh well, what can you do?
Good stuff. So I'll have you starting 9th for race 2, so at least you got an opportunity to get back up there. So Stuart, congratulations, well done on your first win there. Phenomenal job, kept it all together, nice and clean as well. Good pit stop. What more can you say?
Oh, thanks, Steve. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Almost a little bit of a problem on the last lap coming out of turn 5, I think it was. We just watched the back of it step out a little bit on you there, but it was heart and mouth for a minute.
Yeah, I think a bit too much rear brake with the fuel lowering, I think.
Good stuff, congratulations. And hopefully we'll speak to the 3 of you for the next race as well.
Cheers,
Right, thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
So we got our top 3 there. Let's see if we can pull out a couple of other people there. Let's see if we can get Dan Stevens down. Dan, welcome to the booth. Just wanted a quick chat with you there on the incident in that race. How did you see it from your side?
Yeah. To be honest, I passed cleanly. I've got nothing to say, really, Steve. To be honest.
All right, fair enough. It looked on screen. It actually looked like you were alongside, and then we couldn't actually see the touch, but there was clearly a touch and speared the 55 car across there as well. So unfortunate for you there, Dan. So we'll let you get back to it from what looked like a good race at that point.
Yeah, it was a very good battle. It was really good. But honestly, like I said, I got told that I passed cleanly, and then he lost control and then took me out.
All right, unfortunate, Dan. We'll let you back for race 2.
Yeah. Okay.
So Bert, welcome to the comms box. Just a quick catch up after that race there. What looked like it was going to be a pretty good race there just seemed to go south around the pit stop time as well.
Yeah, I thought I could probably push it till the end, and because the tires looked alright, it looked like I could actually go all the way. And fuel-wise, it looked like I'll make it. I thought I can slow down a bit, but then I saw Gavin and everyone catching up. I thought I'm going to have to pit, and then it just after that, yeah, bad luck.
And it looks like a penalty at the end there dropped you down to 16th, was it?
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, it looks like a pit lane penalty or something.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I think it showed as a pit lane penalty for speeding or something. Which obviously dropped you back down, unfortunately. So, all right, best of luck for race 2.
Yep, thanks, Steve.
So there we have it. Some interesting viewpoints there as well. 5 minutes to go to race 2, so we'll be back with you shortly. So welcome back everybody to coverage of round 2 from Mid Ohio of the Racing-Leagues.com V8 Supercars Championship. Myself, Steve O'Connor, and alongside me, Troy Allen. Troy, that was an interesting race, one to say the least. Been a couple of little discussion points there. The move with Stevens and Kinman, how did you see it?
I saw it as Kinnaman losing complete control of his car and taking out Stevens as a collateral damage.
Okay, so we see if we can get a hold of Dave and see what...
Yeah, let's get his point of view.
Hi Dave, welcome to the comms box. We're just touching on a few points in that race. Obviously it was the one between yourself and Dan. How did you see it from your side?
Well, we just had a good chat about it, mate, and it seems like we've all got very different opinions of what happened, and not in the usual kind of sense. It almost seems like it was a netcode issue, because I felt like I got contacted in the braking zone, and then Dan felt like there was contact halfway through the corner. And Rob and Ian were watching, and they said it looked really odd. So I'm sure we're both going to be a little bit angry at one another, but yeah.
We've had the replay up on the screen a couple of times there as well, and it actually looked like the cars didn't touch, but then your car seemed to jump to one side and spear straight back across into Dan's car as well. So it definitely looked odd from what we could see, but you were running the no-stop strategy in that race as well. How you fixed for race 2 with the soft tyre?
I reckon the tyre wear is going to be all right for the 555 cars, so it should be a relatively straightforward strategy. Certainly not as intense as trying to fuel save for that race.
Okay, well done, and we'll let you get back to it for race 2.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
So, interesting viewpoints there for everybody, but it definitely looks strange.
Are you surprised?
Go on ahead, Troy.
Are you surprised? Really, are you surprised?
No, everybody sees things completely differently, especially when you're involved as well. So let's see how it goes. So we're starting up for race 2 now, 36 lap, soft tyre only race, and there will be pit stops in this one clearly as well. So yes, we've got the top 10 reverse. So we've got Daryl Bennett leading off in pole from Thor Johnson, who did a phenomenal job, first and second. Well deserved in 9th and 10th in the last race for both of them. And we've got the first and second, Dan Stevens in 3rd position, Dan Forrest starting 4th, Wayne Dare starting 5th, Dave Kinnaman starting 6th, Wim Pengelly 7th, Gavin Cox 8th, Brett Clark 9th, Stuart Poitier 10th, Kai Turner 11th, Bert Van Jarsfield 12th, Darren Goosey 13th, Trevor Dixon 14th, Matthew Mites in 15th position, Nick Winkler starting 16th, Michael Cadman 17th, Ian Hannon starting 18th. So interesting to see how this plays out with just the top 10 being reversed. It's going to be pretty intense straight away.
Now, can someone explain to me why Clark is starting ahead of Turner?
Which one, Brett Clark?
Yeah.
Because Kai finished 11th, so he doesn't get reversed.
Kai finished 4th on grid.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. Maybe that's just as they're coming round at the moment.
It'll be interesting to see there.
Not quite sure, unless he got assessed a penalty or something. Because we did see Bert Van Jarsfield obviously cop the wrong end of a penalty there.
Sorry, Steve. Just the lovely wife of mine going to bed for the evening.
Excellent.
Because yeah, if this is the case, Steve, where there's been a massive stuff up with the grid here, we're going to have to see a restart.
Yeah, let's just see how it plays out when they slot into position, because that the data on screen might be as to where they are on track at the moment rather than where they're actually starting. So we got the one car making its way around to the grid.
And what are you starting alongside Turner? I don't think that's right, Steve.
Yeah, not quite sure what's happened
No,
here.
it's definitely not right. The grid is not right at all, Steve.
Only thing I can think of is that he's got a penalty afterwards, same as Bert.
And I don't think Stevens would have finished inside the 10 not after that massive incident.
I think he finished 9th actually.
Then he would have been starting second, but you got Thor Johnson in second.
Not quite sure what's happened here, Troy. Somebody will have to explain it to us after the race.
Yeah, it's going to have to be.
Somebody's realised that, so they're just sorting it out now.
Yeah, I didn't think there was that grid looked completely all arse about.
Yeah, definitely a few people out of position there. Yeah, I think they've loaded up the wrong grid file.
Yeah, it must have been something there.
Yeah, something strange, but no doubt they'll get it right, and we'll get on with it now. Okay, so just bear with us while we get this together now. So a couple of minutes, and we should be off for race 2. Yeah, so just gonna try and see what the grid should be looking like. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that looks better. So Thor Johnson from Dan Stevens, Dan Forrest, Wayne Dare, Dave Kinnaman, Wim Pengelly, Kai Turner, Gavin Cox, Brett Clark, Stuart Poirier, Darrell Bennett actually 11th then, so he was outside the top 10 in the last race. So that looks about right. So we should be good to go.
Looks a little bit better, yeah.
So that does leave. That's the other thing I did wonder at as well was Bert van Jaarsveld had finished down in 16th or 17th position after the penalty was assessed, and yet he is starting second last now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a painful one.
Yeah, when it goes south, it goes south. So apologies to our viewers for that one, but we're almost up and running now.
Now, it's going to be interesting here, Steve. Again, we're talking about fuel burn. Now, the number to watch for here is 222 litres for the full race distance. So, how many litres in a full tank, Steve? Come on, question time.
No idea.
112. Times that by 2, that's 224.
That's brilliant.
2 litres. You'll have 2 litres left. So basically, everyone's going to need to call for the tow truck.
Well, let's see how we get on.
Either that or it's a 2-stop race.
I did think about this 2-stop at some point, but we'll have to see. Again, it fascinates me sometimes how so many people can make these cars last with fuel longer than you would think is humanly possible.
Oh, look, it's really simple on these situations. You sort of roll out of the throttle a little bit sooner. You try and avoid blipping your throttle, so you use your clutch and your brake only on the gear down. Short shift it. There's numerous amounts of ways, and probably not even just going to full throttle down the straight. Doesn't even save you some.
Definitely. So we got the Swedish Missile on pole position from the Crook, Dan Stevens in second position. Who's going to make it first into the first corner, Troy?
Look, I do like the way Dan Stevens gets the car off the line.
Yes, we'll have to see how this goes. So 1 minute remaining before we go green. So drivers starting to line up on the grid now. I think most people have made their way around at this point. There's just a few still wandering around the back. And the 5 car is the very last one out of the pits and making its way around through sector 2 now, heading towards turn 9. And everybody else is pretty much lined up.
Tell you what, Steve, Wayne Dare, he amazes me with his fuel conservation. Last year in the Enduro season, we were talking about strategy. He managed to get round on the formation lap using 1 litre.
Unbelievable. He must have turned the engine off a few times.
Oh, he was sensational. The way he ran that car was absolutely brilliant.
Okay, so 10 seconds to go and the lights will start up.
You'll have to forgive me, Steve. I'm going to miss the start. My R Factor 2 just crashed.
Oh, that's handy.
At least it was mine, not our driver's.
Green, green, green. Oh, a phenomenal start from Forrest, but he almost takes out Dan Stevens and he's still spinning. Whoa. Almost chaos at the start. Thor Johnson sweeps into the lead in front of Dan Stevens. Dan Forrest almost took out half the field, but managed to get out of the way on that one. So Johnson leading into up towards turn 3. Stevens looking for a way past already. Pengelly is right there as well in 3rd position now as well. And we've got Clark and Quatty have made up position each off the grid with the Forest car issue. And already Pengelly is looking to make a move straight away, so he's looking for a win from the looks of it straight away. And he's down the inside of Dan Stevens into turn 4. Is he going to be able to keep Dan out? Stevens sweeps across the front there as well, takes the corner, keeps it all together. No issues behind that we can see at the moment. And Pengelly's going after it hard on this first lap.
Just watching the replay there, Steve, you can see the Forest car off the start line. He's just bagged it and tagged it and started slapping its tail all over the place.
I'm surprised he managed to get away with that as well. That could have been chaos. Pengelly almost spins it. That's going to give the 55 car a run, is it? No, not quite yet. And again, we've got the DSA cars locked right together as well on this one. Wayne there in front of Kai Turner at the moment. I'll tell you what, I know from bitter experience, Thor Johnson knows his way around this track, so he's going to be able to get a decent gap to Stevens shortly. He should be okay. And look at there, down the inside of the 55 car into turn 1. That's a tough move to pull, and he's managed it as well and kept it together. And Kai Turner looking to make his way through, following his teammate as well. Are they going to come together through there? That was close.
I hope not.
Very, very close. So Kai Turner up into 5th position now, ahead of Dave Kinnaman. Kinnaman had to give a bit of room through that one, but he did have the overlap, so good racing there. Looking at Brett Clark at the moment, he's right on the rear wing of the other Volvo of the 5 car. No way through there either, unfortunately, and he's got Gavin Cox of all people to pass, and we know Gavin is not going to give up an inch of track.
look, Gavin's never been easy to pass, especially for Brett, even though Brett is the master overtaker. He's always found... I guess you could almost say that Gavin is his Achilles.
You could say this. Oh, Thor Johnson spun and took out Gavin Cox from the looks of it.
Is that Cox or Kinnaman?
It's Cox. We've just got the replay coming up on screen now,
Oh.
so I think Thor Johnson's already spun at this stage as he comes over the crest of turn 9. Yeah,
Look,
Johnson's...
that's one thing that Thor's been really bad at doing, not calling that spin.
Tried to get the car out of the way. Unfortunately, Thor Johnson did, and Gavin Cox was on the outside as we went into that one. So let's see if we can get the... So from the race lead, we have Thor Johnson. We're just watching the replay as to what happened now. So we're going through 6, 7, and 8. Second, it happened somewhere around turn 9. Oh, he's just got loose on the outside there as well. Spun and come back across the track, and that is so lucky half the field wasn't taken out on that one. And that's put our reigning V8 Supercars champion Dan Stevens into the lead. Some debris on the outside, the splitter of the GRC Thor Johnson car there. Pengelly's looking hungry for this one.
He's obviously giving you a red hot crack.
I think he definitely fancies his chances, and as long as Wayne Dare stays in front of Kai Turner, he's probably got half a chance. So just first position Dan Stevens, Wayne Pengelly second, Wayne Dare in third ahead of his teammate Kai Turner. Kai's obviously letting Wayne have a crack at it this time, or Wayne's got a bit more pace on the soft tire, but he's right under the back of the Pengelly car as well and looking to get stuck in. Then we move down to 4th and 5th. We've got Dave Kinnaman, 5th and 6th. We've got Dave Kinnaman from Brett Clark and Stuart Poitier behind that. Daryl Bennett behind them in 8th position as well. And still no way past one of the 555 racing cars for Clark at the moment. Although he is looking at alternate lines through most of the corners from what I can see. He's making that Caltex Volvo loom large in the mirrors of the DeWalt car in front. He's definitely taking so many different lines through those corners as well. It looks like he's almost trying to upset the 55 car in front.
I guess he's just trying to get him to look in his mirrors, and by filling the mirrors, you're going to take his eyes off what's in front of him, miss a braking marker, overshoot it, and then you get an easy pass.
When someone starts doing that to me, I'll flip the rear view mirror up so I can't see what they're doing. Look at the run he's got to heading towards turn 1. He moves to the inside as well. Dave's going to have to give him room if he's going to make this happen. And he had to get out of it a little bit through there. And Poitier is right with them as well.
This is killing me. I wish my R Factor had come back.
Still no change up front. We've Dan Stevens leading from Wayne Pengelly, Wayne Dare 3rd, Kai Turner 4th. But the battle of the day at the moment is for our 5th position with Dave Kinnaman and Brett Clark. Brett Clark is trying everything to get round that 55 car, but there doesn't look like a way through at the minute. And Kai Turner looking at his teammate there. And here we go down the inside into 4. And he's made that move, but has he ran wide? He did a little bit. Kinnaman thought about it on the outside. Poitier looks at moving through as well, but can't. So Brett Clark is through and into 5th position. He's off after his championship protagonist in front, Kai Turner. So we'll see how those two get together. Let's see if Poitier can get past Kinnaman as well. We haven't seen a lot of Stuart having to drive through traffic, so interesting to see how he gets mixed with it. And mover of the race, from what I can see, is Bert van Jaarsveld from 17th on the grid, is now up into 9th position and already catching the back of Daryl Bennett, so he's going to be amongst them in a minute.
That's a cracking drive.
That is a good drive, and it looks like every panel on that car is straight at the minute as well. And was that Poitier making a move on Kinnaman? It was into turn 1 as well. He's just taken Dave Kinnaman. Good move there. And all of that back and forth there as well has allowed Bert van Jaarsveld to catch right onto the back of the 23 car of Darrell Bennett as well. I suppose one of the weaknesses we've seen in Bert this season a little bit is he's a bit more careful through traffic, which seems to cost him a little bit at times.
Look, moving through traffic is difficult at the best of times.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's now caught up to these in front as well. He's bringing Trevor Dixon along with him as well. So 5 laps in the books, and we've got Dan Stevens, reigning Fiat Supercars champion, out in the lead. He's got a nice healthy 1.6 second lead over Wayne Pengelly at the moment, so 1.1 as we entered that corner. So he's doing everything he needs to do to get this win.
And that's one thing Dan's been very, very good at, is knowing how to get the best out of the car and only what he needs to, and not overdriving it and actually making sure he brings it home in one piece.
Absolutely, and we've got Kai Turner now coming up on the back of the Pengelly car as well. We'll see how these two get on. Pengelly's no easy man to pass.
No, he's not, and I think this probably was going to be advantageous to the fact that these boys have a very good relationship off the track as well. So if you put someone like Stevens and Kinnaman, whose relationship on the track and off the track is now probably very strained, they're going to make it extremely hard to get past each other.
And a little bit of a mistake there from Pengelly, almost left the door open for Kai Turner, but not quite yet, although Turner is trying everything at the moment. The 222 car wags its head as it comes over the crest there, so Pengelly's giving it everything he's got at the moment. Coming through Thunder Valley there as well, still taking a look. Obvious place would be turn 1. We've seen a few moves on the soft tire through turn 1, whereas we've seen no moves with the hard tire through turn 1 in the previous race, so you definitely need the grip to be able to go at it in turn 1.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case, because obviously with the extra grip you can carry that extra bit of speed into the turn.
So we've got, just looking back down through the field, we've got Dan Stevens from Wim Pengelly, Kai Turner as we've got on screen. Wayne Dare is in 4th, 4 seconds back off the lead. Brett Clark catching Dare at the moment in 5th position. Poitier coming with Clark as well, a few seconds between them. Dave Kinnaman 7th, Darrell Bennett 8th, but Bert van Jaarsveld in 9th. He hasn't been able to make an impression on the 23 car at the moment. Trevor Dixon 10th, Matthew Mites 11th, Dan Goosey 12th, Ian Hannon 13th, Michael Cadman 14th, Dan Forrest after that incident off the grid in 15th, Nick Winkler in 16th position, Gavin Cox in 17th following that incident with Thor Johnson. So sometimes you wonder, if there was no bad luck in the world, would Gavin Cox ever have any luck?
Yeah, I think that's very true, that one there, Steve. Now, I've been running some numbers in my head and whatnot while waiting for my R Factor 2 to load up. I know it's a scary thought, isn't it? Now, if I've worked this right, you're going to see one hell of a busy pit lane come refueling time.
You reckon they're all going to go at the same time? That could be one of a hell of a Hail Mary strategy, this one yet. Somebody's bound to roll the dice here and try and go short on the first stint, wouldn't you think?
Look, if you're gonna go to 2-stop, yeah, you can go short on your first. But realistically, what lap are we up to now, Steve? I'm still trying to
We're
load
on
up.
lap 8 out of 36 at the moment, and we've got on screen.
I think you'd have to go now.
You reckon if you're going for a 2-stop?
Yeah, if you're 2-stop, I reckon you're short stints now. Around about lap 8 to lap 10 maximum.
I suppose it depends. Then you'll come out in a clear track because the field is still quite bunched up at the moment. I mean, if you go to 16th, there's 30 seconds between 1st and 16th at the moment. You've got to discount Gavin and Thord, who both stopped already, but they might actually come back into play as well, because they, by default, have gone for that early stop, and they'll definitely be on a 2-stopper, another stop at least from here.
Oh, look, I think you're right there, Steve. I think that the fact of the matter being that they had that forced early stop. Oh, let's get math around that. It's really given the opportunity to them to have a 2-stop strategy. So it's been forced upon them. Let's see what they can do with it.
Yeah, Dan Stevens driving away nicely from Wayne Pengelly. Well, it's keeping within about a second or so. Kai Turner, surprisingly, unable to have made much of an impression on the Pengelly car at the moment. So, obviously, just playing the waiting game there and hoping DSA can get the pit stops better than ASR.
Look, considering that we're exchanging money quite frequently between the two teams, there's probably a little bit extra gone under the table this time.
Backroom dealings at the back of the pits there. Let's see if we can get any moves at the moment. And it looks like Wayne Durr is actually closing back up to his teammate as well, and he's bringing Brett Clark with him as well, which is not a good thing for Kai.
No, definitely not, Steve. And my R52 is crashing again. You have to excuse me. I'm going to have to reboot.
So just a quick run down the field. Dan Stevens in first position, doing a fantastic job on lap 10 so far. Hasn't put a wheel wrong. Wayne Pengelly decreasing the gap to first now. He's within half a second on this lap in the 222 ASR WP concreting car. Bringing with him Kai Turner as well, who's pretty much been on the rear end of that Holden from lap 2 or 3. Still unable to make a way past at the moment, although he's just looking as we've got him on camera as well. Looks a little bit more aggressive than Wayne at this point, so their top 3 are within a second of each other at the moment. Wayne Durr was closing up on his teammate, but has just dropped back a little bit now again, and he's got Brett Clark with him as well in 5th position, 3.7 seconds off the lead. Then we've got Stuart Poirier, winner of race 1, is in 6th position, 3.9 seconds off the outright lead. Doing a fine job again. Dave Kinnaman in 7th position, 11.8 seconds off the lead. And Darrell Bennett doing an awesome job as well in 8th position, 12.6 seconds off the outright lead. Bert van Jarsveld, who's made the biggest move in the field, he's gone from 17th up to 9th position, but seems to have hit a barrier now as you get towards the faster cars. Trevor Dixon doing a great job as well, 10th position. 13.6 seconds off the overall lead. Then 10 seconds further back, we've got Darren Goosey, the teammate of Dan Stevens, in the 51 car in 11th position. Ian Hannon, ever-present company for Darren most races, in 12th position. Matthew Mites in 13th position in the DK Nitro Racing Ford Falcon. Nick Winkler in the Winkler Electrical Holden Commodore in 14th position. Dan Forrest, after the incident off the grid, is in 15th position. He's coming to the attention of the recovering Gavin Cox following that earlier incident. In 16th position, Thor Johnson in 17th position, former race leader, made a bit of a mistake on lap 3 and has dropped down to 17th. Michael Cadman in 18th position as well. Michael, who showed a better pace in the previous ones, hasn't been doing as well in this round as he has previously, so maybe a little bit of an issue with the car there as well. So just back up front again, Dan Stevens leading on lap 11 at the moment from Kai Turner now, who's got past Wayne Pengelly, so let's see if we can find that. So we've had a couple of back and forth there, so we've got Pengelly and Turner made a passing move. Out of turn 9 up through Thunder Valley, they were alongside of each other all the way through, and then Pengelly had the inside for the next corner. Turner tried to switch back from the looks of it, around the outside actually. Oh, Wayne's going to be sorry with himself for that one. Ooh, good move there by Turner, but Pengelly left it on the table, and now we've got Turner going for the lead as well. And I think we've just got Brett Clark has passed Wayne Durr as well in the background, so let's just have a quick look at that one. and down the back straight and into turn 4, I would imagine. Yes, there you go. He just popped out into turn 4 and moved himself into position. I think we've had Dave Kinnaman off track as well from the looks of it, so just keeping an eye on this one. Just in the same place he had the issue with Dan Stevens in the earlier race as well. I think he's just locked up and driven straight off the track as well. Yes, that's a little bit unfortunate. Dave's a bit long way back on there as well. We've got Van Jaarsveld off track later on as well in that lap from the looks of it. So just watching coming through the turn 8 complex up towards turn 9. Almost stepped the rear out. And yeah, he's just ran off track on turn 9 there as well. So we've got Van Jaarsveld is actually up to 7th position now. So there's been a bit of an incident earlier in that track. Daryl Bennett, I think, was off track. So let's just get the replay of that. So we had Van Jaarsveld on the inside of Bennett coming into turn 4. But Kinnaman locked up as well. And I think Bennett's gone off in sympathy, has he? He has as well. He's taken out Trevor Dixon, unfortunately, as well. So that's really bad looking. What a mess those cars look like. And back up front we've got Stevens and Turner battling for the lead on lap 13 out of 36. Turner almost stacks it in the rear there. Just looks like a bit of oversteer through that section. And Dan's coming up to lap. The first of the back markers, Nick Winkler, does a fantastic job. Jumps out of the way and lets them get on with it. Gavin Cox has made his way up into 13th position now, so decent recovery drive from Gavin there. So we just take a look back through, see where Wayne Pengelly is in 3rd position. Brett Clark is coming back at him now at the moment, 3.5 seconds off the overall lead. And just looking into turn 4, we got a move on. Daryl Bennett gets out of the way. Allows Stevens and Turner to get through the corner cleanly there as well, so no chance for Turner at this point. So Dan Stevens looking pretty strong, to be honest. So Stevens from Turner, from Pengelly in 3rd, from Clark in 4th position. Just looking at the previous lap times, at 21.596 on the previous lap for Brett Clark, 21.971 for Kai Turner, and the 1st and 3rd position both in the 22s at that point. So got a bit of pace for Turner and Clark over the rest of them at the moment, but Stevens is still in the lead, and that is, you know, Turner goes for a move, turn 1, he's not going to make it there with the tyre life at lap 15 on soft tyres. I would doubt there's a lot of grip left in front of that car, and Stevens has got the entry into the chicane just as Turner's trying to get the overlap. We're coming up to turn 3 now. Nice line through there. You've got to get on the power nice and early as well to stop Turner from trying to get a run up. Turner almost got the overlap on the exit as well, so he's going to try and make a move into turn 4. Dan moves to the right as well. He's going to make him go the long way. Absolutely make him go the long way, so he moves back across to take his entry into the corner on the brakes nicely. Turner doesn't get the opportunity there, but that was a nice exit by Turner off turn 3. He almost got the overlap, and he's really pushing it through this section as well. But Dan's got the racing line all the way through. He's got the advantage of being able to place the car where he wants to, which makes Turner have to take the long way if he's going to make a move at all. So we're heading through turn 8 now into turn 9, and this is where Turner got the overlap on Pengelly earlier, but he's not going to get it this time. And Dan Stevens leading through Thunder Valley up towards turn 11 now. Into 11, head towards 12. Nowhere to pass through this section unless you actually make a mistake as the car in front. Nice and clean. We'll see if Turner tries to make a move again on this one. And we've got Brett Clark has taken care of Wayne Pengelly on the previous one, so we'll get a replay of that in a second. Turner goes for the inside into turn 1 again. Not going to make it through there. And I think Pengelly's actually made a mistake, has he? Just watching this move. So Yeah, Pengelly's ran a bit wide through there, almost swiped Clark on the exit. Clark's gone around the outside as well, and I think Stuart Poitier has actually taken advantage of that as well. So we've got, I think Pengelly's made a massive mistake somewhere, because for Poitier to get past him, Pengelly's in the pits, that's what the issue is. So Pengelly's obviously going for the two-stop strategy from what I can see at the moment. So Dan Stevens, 0.6 seconds ahead of Kai Turner, 16 laps in the book out of 36, 20 laps to go. We should see the one-stoppers showing their hand within about 4 or 5 laps, I would have thought. And in the background you can see the Caltex 69 car is starting to draw its way back up. It's 1.7 seconds off the lead. 2 laps ago he was 3.5 seconds off the lead, so he's coming. And Turner into the pits on that one, so Turner wants to get the overlap with a quicker pit stop as well. So let's see if Dan Stevens reacts or Brett Clark. So Kai Turner in the pits, first place Dan Stevens, second place Brett Clark, third place Stuart Poitier, Wayne Dare fourth, Bert van Jaarsveld, phenomenal drive, he's up into fourth. Wayne Dare's in the pits as well, so both DSA cars pitting at the same time again. Bit unusual, but whatever floats your boat. So Bert van Jaarsveld up into 4th position, Dave Kinnaman in 5th, Darren Goosey up into 6th, Ian Hannon 7th, Wayne Dare 8th, Kai Turner is now in 9th position. I believe he's exiting the pits right now, so he's going to drop a little bit further down, I would have thought. So we got Trevor Dixon, I believe, is coming round now, sweeping into turn 1, so Kai pops out in 9th position overall. We've got Brett Clark's already in the lead past Dan Stevens. Amazing. Let's see if we can get the replay of that one. So here we go into turn 4. Clark got right on the rear of Stevens' car, went in too deep. Dan did, I think. No? Not quite sure where he's made the move yet. Dan's gone wide and almost stacked it on the outside as well to let Brett down the outside and round, and he's got that position. And straight into the pits, Brett Clark, so good move there. Has Dan Stevens come in as well? Oh my god. That was interesting to say the least. A little bit of an incident in the pits there. Stuart Poitier collected Dan Stevens in the pits. Dan's been spun around again. And a comment I made earlier about Gavin Cox having no luck. Same applies to Dan Stevens, so he's come into the pits and not sure what was going on there, but that's clearly going to be a penalty. Dave Kinnaman's into the lead, and Brett Clark and both SRT cars are in the pits at the same time, as are both DSA cars. Clark comes out, and as he got the lead over Kai Turner's actually passed him on track as well. So a 5-second gap there from Kai Turner back to Brett Clark. So another mistake in the pits from the looks of it by the SRT team. Got to feel sorry for Dan Stevens. He's now down in 8th position. Should have come out in somewhere around 3rd or 4th position, but that incident in the pits, complete spin round. It's just, when it's not your day, it's not your day. So it'll be interesting to see Kai Turner 159.733 for his lap, including the pit stop. So we need to see what the Brett Clark lap was, because he was a good couple of seconds ahead of Kai before he came in. So to lose 5 seconds in a pit stop is pretty bad, to be fair. So Kai Turner effectively the leader of the race. He's the first car to have pitted. Dave Kinnaman is leading at the moment, but I imagine we'll be heading towards the pits anytime soon. And in fact, he's in the pits on this lap. So let's see what Clark's lap was. A 1:56 for Kai Turner, I believe it was. 2:02.781, including the pit stop. That's terrible. See what the second of the SRT cars is down in 11th position now. So Bert doing a phenomenal job to get us all the way up to the top 7, I believe it was. Looks like he's at a mare of a pit stop as well, and is down in 11th position now, having lost ground to people that he was in front of earlier. A 2:21 for Van Jaarsveld. He's lost over 20 odd seconds in that pit stop to the standard pit time, and that's ridiculous, unbelievable. Anyway, so Kai Turner 6.4 seconds ahead of Brett Clark at the moment, 19 laps out of 36 in the book. I've lost my co-commentator, so I'm going to run out of steam anytime soon.
And good thing I'm coming back now, Steve.
About bloody time. It's all kicked off while you've been away in the pit stops. Kai Turner's pit stop, including the pit stop, was a 1:56, I believe. Brett Clark's was a 2:02. Both SRT cars pitted together, and Bert Van Jaarsveld's was a 2-minute 21-second lap. So he's either made a mistake on his out, or they've just had the worst pit stop possible. It sounds like me and you were changing the wheels on that car.
Hey, I'm not too bad with the rattle gun in hand, thank you very much.
Well, you're in Australia, I'm in England, and the race is in the US, so figure that one.
I've got some frequent flyer points up somewhere.
So, terrible stop there for Van Jaarsveld, and Clark's stop was nothing to write home about either. And Gavin Cox has made his way up into third position now. He's got Pengelly and Poitier underneath him. And also, you missed Dan Stevens getting taken out in the pits by Stuart Poitier.
Sounds like I've missed a hell of a lot.
Yeah, Dan came in second position. He made a bit of a mistake. Brett Clark passed him on track due to the mistake. They both pitted together. Stuart Poitier ran right up the back of Dan and spun him round in the pits. So I think we've possibly not approached Dan for an interview after the race.
Now, Steve, was I right? Did everyone come in around the same time?
Pretty much. I think Kai was in significantly earlier than the others. Well, he was a lap before the others, but that triggered the rest of them to pit, and his pit stop was pretty special. So some questions will be asked of the team there as to what's going on, because Clark had a couple of second lead over Kai coming in and left with a 6-second deficit. So it's remained the same ever since.
Now, for our regular viewers, i.e. Macintosh, they will recall me saying to you, Steve, that a case of beer goes a long way with your team.
I want to stick that case of beer up their rear end.
Is that a thanks for coming, Steve?
You know it. So, just after the pit stops have all shaken out at the minute, the only one off strategy really in the top 10 is Gavin Cox, who's probably going to have to pit again shortly due to the incident with Thor Johnson earlier. Thor Johnson as well has pitted for the second time. He's down in 15th position. So, Kai Turner leading Brett Clark, Gavin Cox, Stuart Poitier, Wayne Pengelly, Dan Stevens, Dave Kinnaman, Bert Van Jaarsveld, Darren Goosey doing a phenomenal job 9th. Wayne Durst lost out. Actually, he's made 2 pit stops from the looks of it there, so potentially a pit lane penalty there, I would have said, for Wayne, because he pitted at exactly the same time as Kai, which was only 4 or 5 laps ago, so I would imagine he's got some sort of speeding penalty. And to be fair, it looked like Stuart Poitier should probably have had a pit lane penalty because of the speed he closed on Dan in the pits. Definitely looked like there was quite a variation in the car speeds there.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what's shaken out from that.
Yeah, definitely. So, just looking, Pengelly's got himself back up into 4th position and is just getting on with it as well. Poitier's got past him. Trying to see, Gavin Cox has pitted, hasn't he? So just looking at the move on Pengelly by Poitier, they were having a good little battle there. So Gavin Cox was in front of Wayne at this point. Wayne's actually looks like he's getting held up a little bit. He's made a little bit of a boob. Oh, and another hit from Poitier there on the 222 car. So the 8 car getting up on the wheel there after me saying what good clean driving. Not saying it's not clean. I'll leave that to the stewards. But he's getting involved in a couple of scraps at this point.
Yeah, he's obviously got the list of winning, and then all of a sudden he's just come out and all guns blazing.
Is that his Weetabix this morning, as we say over here?
Clearly. And just looking at some of the comments going on here on our channel, Crashed is telling everyone that I'm paying for ASR's 10 holidays this year.
Yeah, which he's taken one of them today.
Yeah, well, obviously that Ford of his didn't make it quite as far.
Yeah, so I suppose we've got to work out now whether Kai Turner is actually going to stop again, or whether this is genuine pace. And knowing how Kai normally drives, I wouldn't be comfortable calling it this is his genuine pace, because we've seen before where he goes off like a rabbit, and then has to come back to the field because he's overdriven the car a little bit. So he's holding a 6.5 second lead over Clark. They're running pretty much the same sort of lap times as well at the moment. So we'll have to see how this shakes out yet. It's not over and done with by any means.
No, it's definitely not. Now, we have seen the Kai's tyre deg and his management in the past few rounds, especially towards the back end of last season. He's really improved a lot, so hopefully he can keep the tyres underneath that car and we can see him hold that position, especially from my point of view, to the end.
Definitely. So we just got Dan Stevens on screen as well. He's slowly catching up to Wayne Pengelly as well, so he's doing a damn good recovery job after the incident in the pits where he was all the way around. So in 5th position, Dave Kinnaman in 6th position, Bert van Jarsville 7th, Darren Goosey 8th, Wayne Dern 9th, Darrell Bennett 10th. Gavin Cox is in 11th position after his second stop. So I would say of all people, Gavin's going to run it to the end from here. So he's 58 seconds off the lead. We take, 30 seconds out, 40 seconds out for a pit stop there. So he's around 9 to 20 seconds off first position if they have to pit again. So good recovery drive there. Oh, and Dan Stevens almost runs off track just as we noticed there.
Hey, well, we've got Darren Goosey up inside the top 10. That's a great drive from Darren.
He's doing a phenomenal job. So I'm just going to jump in the cockpit of the Kai Turner car and see how it's actually behaving itself, and if he has pushed the tyres a little bit too much.
Coming through well, they're looking very smooth.
Yeah, he's looking pretty smooth. It looks like he's driving to a number nicely through there. Car's not looking too upset anywhere.
And if you're looking at the wheel here from the in-cockpit view, you see that there's not a lot of second grabs at it. It seems to be very much dialed in.
Yeah, Clark is taking 2 to 3 tenths off from a lap at the moment, so it does look like he's trying to manage this car now rather than going all out and having to make a second stop. So it looks like it's got plenty of grip at the moment. Its turn-in's pretty good as well. And if we flip back to the 69 car, Clark in the background as well, see how the Volvo's handling it. I do like that invisible steering wheel that the Volvo's got.
It's a great looking steering wheel.
Yeah, it's just holding it nice, as well as plenty of grip on that car as well at the moment. So let's see what these lap times shake out at. He's just got past Thor Johnson there to put him a lap down as well. We're into lap 26 out of 36 at the moment, so 10 to go. All to play for still. And as Clark closed in on that lap as well, yes, he has a 21.598 for Turner, 21.183 for Clark. He's going to have to go a bit faster if he's going to catch him.
Oh, look, I think Brett knows what he's got to do with 10 to go. It's on. It's really on.
Absolutely. So 26 in the book, 5.6 seconds the gap to second at the moment. Stuart Poitier significantly back, 16.2 in third. Pengelly 4th, Dan Stevens 5th, Dave Kinnaman 6th, Bert van Jarsville 7th, Darren Goosey 8th, Wayne Dern 9th, Darrell Bennett 10th, Gavin Cox is 11th, Trevor Dixon 12th, Thor Johnson 13th, Nick Winkler 14th, Matthew Knights 15th, Dan Forrest is in 16th, and the last car running at the moment.
Cycling back through the field, we've got Gavin Cox right up on Daryl Bennett.
Yeah, just get it on camera now as well. Yes, there's the 5 car. And down the back straight. He did struggle a little bit with Daryl Bennett earlier as well, trying to pass. So it's by no means a given that he's going to get this position and into the top 10.
Tell you what, Daryl Bennett, he's come a long way since joining the league last year. He was one of those guys that was sort of around the back end of the field, struggling to come to terms with the car, and this season it just seems to have just all clicked for him.
Sorry, just got interrupted there. Kids are hungry, so these boys better get the hammer down.
Oh no, look out, the ladies are getting restless.
Tell me about it.
The good thing about being in Australia, Stephen, mine are well and truly in bed. And just while we're talking about kids, a special shout out to my little bloke, Tyson. It's his 7th birthday today, mate. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Tyson.
There's his 15 minutes of fame for him.
So Cox is getting right under the rear wing of the 23 car on this lap as well. He's looking to make a dive into turn 4, and he's already pulled out into the inside, but he's touched the grass a little bit, which tends to slow you up. But is he through? Yes, he is. Good move there by Gavin Cox as well, recovering nicely into 10th position now, so he's back up in the top 10. Out front, it's still status quo pretty much. Kai Turner 5.2 seconds ahead. They're running pretty much identical lap times on the last lap, at 121.362 for Kai Turner, 121.360 for Brett Clark, and Stuart Porteous a couple of tenths faster, but 15.9 seconds back. Dan Stevens has got round Dave Kinnaman now and is up into 4th position. So let's see if we can see that one. It's actually Pengelly's made a mistake, I think. Or has he pitted again? Because Pengelly was the first car to pit, so I imagine he's in the pits. Yes, he is. So Wayne's gone for the 2-stop strategy there.
That's an interesting one. We did say that was an option.
It was an option, so we'll see where Wayne shakes out. He should have some awesome tyres for the last 7 laps, so he could be able to make a bit of ground up on this one.
So that was the reverse of what I was saying earlier, Steve, where it was lap 8 you would come in. So he's gone for a long, short stint.
Definitely. So lap 29 down out of 36, and Dan Stevens is making a stop.
That's another 2-stopper, is it, Steve?
Unexpected, yeah, from 4th position. He's in pits now, no one to run into him this time, so he should be clear to go there. So next car along would be Bert van Jaarsveld in 6th position. He's just passed him for that position now, so Bert's moved himself up to 5th from 17th on the grid, and an enormously long pit stop as well. So good driving there for Bert to get himself up towards the top 5 at this point.
Look, that's going to be driver of the day, I think.
Definitely, that's definitely driver of the day. 17th position to 5th position at the minute, as long as he can keep it there. So out front, I think we're going to have a race by the end, Troy. Clark has got it down to 4.3 seconds, 121.3 on the last lap, 121.7 for Kai Turner. So these two are going to come together very shortly, hopefully not literally. There's a yellow flag in sector 1 at the moment, so somebody's had a little bit of an issue, and that is the sector that Kai is coming through, so just look out in case there's any issues anywhere.
It's Pengelly, Steve. Pengelly's gone off.
On fresh tyres.
Obviously, cold tyres has caught him out.
So yeah, we just got Wayne. He came up, carried a lot of speed up through turn 3. He's on the back of Wayne there at this point. Oh, yeah, curb on the outside. It's actually disastrously for Wayne. It's actually pushed him back almost onto the chicane of turn 3 on the other side of the track. So the worst possible spin, and has dropped him down to 10th position there. So I imagine Bruce Duncan, who's watching, will be in enormously fine form following that spin.
I can hear the Scotsman already cursing.
I do think it's the lack of Colin Bruns on track as well that's it's leading to Wayne being slower than normal.
Well, it's hard to say.
So 22.125 on the last lap for Kai Turner, 21.5 for Brett Clark, and they've just tripped the timing beam again, a 121.3 for Kai, so he got the pace back up, but a 121.1 for Brett Clark on that one. And it looks like Clark's actually made a mistake. He's dropped back quite a bit there. He was within 3 odd seconds of him, and it's back up to 4 now, and that 69 car does not look like it wants to turn in. Interesting to see what the lap time is when they cross the lap, but it definitely looks to me like Clark's made a mistake through turn 1, I would have said. Because he's lost quite a bit of ground on this lap.
Yeah, he was a 10th down on that sector on Turner.
Yeah, so he's thereabouts, so he's going to run out of laps if he doesn't get a move on shortly.
Now, Steve, these tyres, I reckon that front right will be screaming very shortly.
So interesting to see. We've got Bert van Jaarsveld up into 5th from 17th. Phenomenal drive. Dan Stevens with the second stop is in 6th position. He's 10 seconds back. It'll be interesting to see what sort of lap times these two are going to run. But Bert's just ran a 21.5 and versus a 22.2 for Dan. So Dan's actually losing a bit of pace, bizarrely, with the fresh tyres. And the gap's down to 3.8 seconds now. 21.6 for Kai, 21.2 for Brett. 4 laps to go. There's definitely not enough time unless Kai has issues.
Well, I'm hearing a lot of chatter in the background, Steve. A lot of chatter about fuel.
Oh dear. Well, Kai went a lap earlier than everybody else, so you would assume that most people would be in the same boat.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So yeah, 3.3 seconds now the gap, so Brett is coming at him as best as he knows how, so 0.2 faster in sector 1. Let's see what sector 2 brings up in a second. 25.7 sector 2 for Kai, 25.764, so they're pretty much matching each other through sector 2, a little bit faster for Kai, although there is a couple of tenths he's taken out of him in the first sector, Clark that is. And Kai's catching up on lap traffic as well, as long as he catches it in the right part of the track and doesn't have to stay behind it too long. So a 1:22.264 for Kai on that lap, a 1:21.935 for Brett Clark on that lap. So tyres are starting to scream enough.
Definitely are, Steve. Or could it be that Turner knows he's got to conserve fuel?
Trevor Dixon almost speared into Kai Turner there on the way around. That wouldn't have been nice. Kai spun. No. Ooh. How did he keep that together, Troy? He's just completely lit up the rears out of turn 3, and we've seen everybody else has done that, has spun.
Now, Steve, you see the signage on our cars.
I suppose if any team's going to keep it together, it'll be you guys.
Oh yes, plenty of time on the skid pan.
So Brett Clark is catching right up behind to Trevor Dixon as well. Unfortunately, as we suggested earlier, Brett's probably going to catch him in the worst possible place through the final sector. So unless Trevor moves off the line, Brett's going to have a little bit of a handful through here. Let's say, yeah, Trevor moves out of the way. Good driving there from Trevor. Allows Brett to get stuck back in again. So let's see what times we trigger on this lap, although there should only be a couple of laps remaining at the end of this one. 21.981 for Kai Turner, 22.280 for Brett Clark, and to be fair, I would say that's probably done it.
Oh, it's touch and go, Steve. It really is. My heart is in my mouth at the moment with fuel.
Yeah, of course, there's the fuel to work into it still. So just looking down for drive of the day in 5th position, Bert van Jaarsveld from 17th on the grid. Doing a great job at the moment. Hopefully I'm not doing the commentator's curse and he runs out of fuel in half a lap's time or pits.
Anything's a go at the moment with Bert, especially after that late stop in race 1.
So 3.2 seconds the gap now between first and second. You can almost see them together on the screen at the same time. But Kai's holding a nice lead at the moment.
Almost matching sector times here now, Steve. 35.5 and 35.5 respectively for both the drivers in the first sector there.
Yeah, and Stuart Portier in 3rd position, 14.6 seconds. So he's not making any ground on them either. So if they are starting to run to a fuel number, everybody looks like it.
Steve, they're inseparable. 26-1, 26-1.
Yep, 22.6 and a 22.8 for Brett Clark. So Clark is actually losing ground at the moment. We're on the last lap now, and Kai Turner comes into the chicane, heading up towards turn 3 now. He's just got the final straight bit to go in a minute.
Well, this has been one hell of a race that I've been able to see. What I've been able to see.
Definitely. So we got Turner coming into turn 4 now on his final lap, 2.6 seconds ahead. So he's dropping a little bit of pace through there. Almost a second through sector 1. Hopefully that car's not coughing, Troy. Can he keep it together for the final part into turn 9? He's looking a bit slower than normal through there. Although Brett Clark is dropping right back off again. He's 3.6 seconds out now, so I would suspect Clark's having the same issue at the moment. So into the final few corners, and Kai Turner ready to take his first win of the season. Well-deserved win. Good drive. Good job all round, DSA. Good pit stops. What more can you say? There's the win. Kai Turner takes the win from Brett Clark.
Steve, 0.1 of a litre left in that Turner car.
That's ridiculous. He's not even going to make it round, I would have thought. Stuart Portier takes 3rd position after the first win, so good championship haul of points there. Dave Kinnaman in 4th position coming up now.
And Turner celebrating only how Turner knows.
We've got Kinnaman just crossing the
And he's
line
out of fuel.
now into 4th position, 26 seconds.
And Clark showing some sportsmanship there.
And we've got Bert van Jaarsveld takes 5th position. Dan Stevens closed to within 5 seconds into 6th position. Darren Goosey follows his team boss up in 7th and holds off Wayne Dare of all people. So good job there from Darren Goosey. His replacement, that'll be a bit of satisfaction there for him to get one over in his replacement. Gavin Cox comes across the line ahead of the recovering Pengelly, who made a bit of a pig's ear out of that one, to be fair. Trevor
Look, great sportsmanship being shown here from Brett Clark.
Oh, he's pushing the 406 round.
408.
408. Here goes Stuart Portier round as well. So that's it. Race pretty much finished. Just before we get everybody up in the podium, and before we interview Stuart in particular, let's see if we can get Dan Stevens.
Uh-oh. Can we get some cooling ice or something in here for Dan?
Hopefully. Dan, Steve in the booth, just moved you down to comms for a second. What can you say if there wasn't bad luck, you'd have no luck?
Mate, you know, I might have a target on my back because I've got the number 1 on my windows, but honestly, there's got to be a better way of losing it, eh?
Yeah, complete confusion from what I could see on the screens there was his closing speed in the pits was ridiculous compared to yours, and he wasn't speeding from the looks of it. So, can you shed any light on that, or were you already moving into your pit stall when you got hit?
My pit stall is pretty close. As soon as I get around that corner, it's right there. So if I go in too fast, I actually spin around, which I did a few times. But it's the car behind that has to do the speed they've got to do so they don't cause incidents. And even if it's in pit lane or on the racetrack, it's just not on. It's 2 races in a row, and I get taken out.
Absolutely, feel your pain. I would imagine there'll be a penalty coming the way of the 8 car at some point for that one. So, unfortunate, Dan, but we'll let you get back to it.
Yeah, mate. Cheers. No.
So there we have it. So
Wow.
let's get the top 3 down. They've just parked on the grid there now. They're just coming around. Well, when I say park, Brett Clark's trying to push it around. That's going to cost me a fortune in parts.
Look, Steve, I'll share the damage with you.
Let's just get Bert down. Bert, welcome to the post-race interviews as well. Myself and Troy have given you the drive of the day there, from coming from 17th position up to 5th. That was awesome drive there as well.
Thanks, Steve.
But a very, very slow pit stop. You were lost almost 20 seconds either in the stop or or did you have an incident on the lap out?
No, what happened was when I came into the pits, my teammate was in the same pit bay.
Oh,
Brett was in the same pit bay, so we were double stacking, and I had about, I don't know, it must have been 6, maybe more seconds waiting for him.
oh dear, and he had a slow pit stop as well, from what we've seen on the timing as well, so that's unfortunate, but well done. That was a phenomenal job to get yourself from 17th
Thanks
to
very much.
5th.
Yeah, I thought I had to make that up for the first race.
Well done, good work.
Thanks.
Well, that's double stacking.
Wow, it's the first time we've heard of that.
So welcome our top 3 to the post-race interview. We've Kai Turner taking the win from Brett Clark and Stuart following up in 3rd position. Stuart, let me just come to you first. Well done on 3rd position, but I suppose we have to talk about the incident in the pits with the number 1 car. How did that go from your perspective?
Thanks, Steve. First, well done, Kai and Brett. In the pits, I clipped Dan as he slowed, and I went to swerve right, and I must have got him on the far corner, and it spun him around.
A little bit unfortunate there as well, but did you not have the pace of the top 2, or were you delayed yourself in the pits with that issue?
I actually didn't realise I'd stored my car in my pit bay, and when I went to leave, I had to start it up.
Unfortunate. Well done. So winning a 3rd position, some good championship points there for you. Congratulations. Brett, we'll just come to you next. Another bad pit stop and a double stacking for this bad day all round for the team from the pit's perspective.
Yeah, I think. I don't know how Kai managed to do that extra lap. I think the only lap you could pit was on lap 18 if you wanted to one stop. But obviously, Kai managed to stretch it out an extra lap, but I certainly wouldn't have been able to. When I crossed the line, I had 0.7 of a litre, 0.7 of a lap left. So, it's one of those things. There's nothing we could do about it. We weren't far enough away to avoid it.
Yeah, but it was a slow pit stop though compared to Kai's. I think it was about 9 seconds longer in the pits. Anything on that, or?
No, crew were ready for the pit stop. I had to fill it up all the way, so I don't know why that happened.
All right, no worries. Well done on 2nd, at least a good haul of championship points. And
Yeah.
Kai.
And just before we do move on, Steve, thank you, Brett, for bringing him round at the start-finish, mate. Top swordsmanship.
No problem, mate.
Well done. Kai, over to yourself. Congratulations. First win of the season. Probably expected a bit more from the previous round, but definitely made up for it today. So well done on that. And as we said there, and Brett was alluding to as well, that a bit of a different pit strategy off by a lap or whatever, but you brought it home. So well done. How was it from your perspective?
Yeah, that first stint was good. I got held up a bit there and thought I'd come in lap 16. I knew I could stretch out another lap with the fuel consumption there at the end. I was conserving fuel for nearly 10 laps there at the end. That's why Brett was catching me so quick.
Good stuff. Congratulations and well done to our top three. And we'll let you get back and out of the course.
Cheers, thanks.
Cheers, thanks, Steve.
And I suppose one final person we'll try and get in is Mr. Pengelly, who was looking pretty strong. Wayne, welcome to the post-race interviews there. We just thought we'd grab you and have a quick word. A bit of a pig's ear of a race, that one, if we're being honest.
Yeah, it didn't go too well, mate. What can I say? I'm gutted with it, really.
Yeah, you had plenty of pace and you were running strongly in the top 3-4. And then obviously you've went for the two-stop strategy, which did look like it was going to work out for you, but a bit of a mistake on the outlap.
I did, mate. I also had another issue where I'd requested a pit stop, and then as I went into the pits, I hit it again. So obviously the pit stop the first time was a bit longer. So
unfortunate.
Gutted.
Unfortunate. Oh, congratulations. Well done anyway. At least you've got decent championship points, so back up and at it for round 3.
That's the main thing, mate, keeping the points.
Good stuff. Well done.
Thanks, guys.
Gavin, Steve in the booth there, welcome to the post-race interview. Pretty much an awesome recovery drive there, but a little bit unfortunate what happened at the start there.
Yeah, Steve, I zigged when I should have zagged and sort of collected thought on the way through, which gave me some damage. And I thought I'll pit and pick up some fuel and try and push on with a fresh set of tyres. But the guys that only one stopped made it very hard.
Yeah, you did well to recover to where you did, so well done on that. So looking forward to the rest of the tracks now. We've got the first couple of rounds out of the way as 555 team owner and manager. Are you expecting the form to go up? Because both of you showed improved pace through this round as opposed to the last one as well. So onwards and upwards.
Yeah, for sure, Steve. A little bit rusty in the first round. I haven't done much racing lately, so just getting my eye back in and the car felt pretty good tonight. So look out for round 3.
Excellent. Well done. Congratulations. We'll speak to you later. Cheers, Gavin.
Thanks, Steve.
So there we have it. Pretty much a bit of a wrap, that one. So good race. Well done for Kai there, Troy. I'm sure you're pleased with that one. It should keep him close to the front in the overall points as well. Move the team up as well a little bit with good work by Wayne as well. He did a good job, and he's a good wingman for this race round at least.
Yeah, look, he definitely showed the reason why we brought him into the team, and I can actually say that a lot of the chatter off channel is the reason why we bring him in. His head work is brilliant. But look, a good bag of points for the team, and onwards and upwards.
Good stuff, everybody. Well done. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I will see you in 2 weeks' time. So, thanks very much.